hello, everybody. Good. All right. Chat, what do you want? Me bigger? Or, I'm sorry, me smaller or Mike bigger? All right, now's your chance to speak up.
I'm glad that you have said something before.
Yeah, I really did a number on you with that comment, huh? Because like
I don't remember who said it.
brother.
I don't know who said. I don't. But it definitely has stuck with me. You're right. It's been in my craw.
Okay. Are you, on the homepage? Does it show the last week's Nintendogs thumbnail for you guys?
Let me take a look.
Doing that? When I
go to my
looked at the
content.
thing, it wasn't.
Let me go to live. Switch 2 blowout. It says Switch 2 is wild, is what I'm seeing here in the back end.
That's what it should be. It's so weird on the homepage, like YouTube.com, when it's suggesting it to me. For some reason, it has the one last week of Mario peeking from the shower.
That's weird.
It's weird.
It's hopefully that's just
YouTube's just fucked.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Yeah. Hopefully that's just
Might
YouTube
be
being
a
a
weird
bug for
fucking
you.
thing.
Mike's or
We
what?
just said
Okay.
too.
Yep.
Justin shows last week.
What does it say?
What's it say in the back?
Did you upload it?
In the back end, it's
the thumbnails by accident. Maybe
Is
that's
that a
it.
thing?
Yeah, it is a thing. You
Oh,
can
AB?
upload multiple
AB
thumbnails.
testing?
Yeah.
Take a look at pictures on AB testing.
You want Grubb smaller.
Never done
Gotcha.
that. Hey, why are you eating an apple?
What?
What? How do you? I thought it was a chip. How do you
I thought
distinguish that?
he knows. I thought you were checking. I didn't know you would see me.
First, if I didn't see it, I'd recognize that sound anywhere anyways.
It's hundreds of miles away from you. What is the apple going to do to you?
I don't want to look at it. I don't want to hear it.
I believe you can smell it too.
Sugaring, memory sensors.
Oh, what? What did I? What apple? What? But that's you're talking like the apple killed your family and then ate your dog.
Yeah, it's a Corella.
Yeah, he's got a Corella situation. All right, I'm gonna have to actually do both. I'm gonna make me smaller and Mike bigger.
See, now you should. That's just
I'm cool.
debauchery.
I turned my. I actually
started using the word debauchery in that.
Yeah, what's good
had
word?
to
What's
turn
up,
off
Mike?
my video because it looked bad. 1 second. I said
Yeah, no problem.
fix something. I don't know why. When I just open it in the watches, I think I turn it back on here. It's better.
It's your face.
Hey, Christian, can you do me a favor at some point in the next week or two? Create. I don't know if we have this already, but in the sidebar when it says people who are aligned in the Discord, you make a special one on the side for people who have boosted the sub. So people who boosted the sub can feel a little bit more special because we could use 2 boosts in the Discord. I said sub, but boosted the Discord.
It's just that one thumbnail.
I will do that.
Thank you.
It's just that one thumbnail on YouTube. I have no idea what's wrong.
Okay. Well, fun.
Just YouTube being stupid.
YouTube being a sack of potatoes.
That's okay. It's not like it's an important episode or anything.
No.
What did I do with OBS? This is bad.
Does it still do it for you on the YouTube like front page or whatever, or do you still see it somewhere?
Did you do something?
Me?
Test this.
Oh no, yeah. It's just like on the front page. People were saying in chat it looked like that too. It's last week's thumbnail, and there's no reason for it to be. It is not set to that.
Yeah, I didn't touch anything.
I see in my main page. In my main page, it shows the new one.
Yeah. Oh well.
I don't
Nothing we can do.
It's maybe it should. Yes. Michael O'Leary says that YouTube occasionally does that with live stream. Yeah, I've seen that happening before too.
See, some people are saying you won't sit there and see a new one. Who knows? Who knows? I mean,
It's okay.
Yeah.
Have y'all skied?
When I
not
skied
yet.
it, yeah, I'll ski it again. When I skied it earlier, it was. Does it?
1920, 900, 960. All right. So.
Yeah, at least it's pulling the right thumbnail for skeets and whatnot. So.
Man, people really like that Stephen A. Smith meme I posted.
Yeah, my PC's here. I think AJ might stop by after this show just to swap some parts.
Like maybe low.
Also.
What's that?
Never mind. Ignore me.
No, he's fine.
Yep, he's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me know. Chad, if you hear a crackle, you let me know.
That's good. This is good. I'm good. You're good. Chat is good. Let me bring up last of the Nintendogs, the rundown. Merchandising. All right. Pause that. Oh, music. Were you guys hearing the Donkey Kong music there?
No, I haven't heard anything yet.
I restarted Goxers. That makes sense. Last of the Nintendogs.
Test. Take me down to the It's the first time we do the podcast. Yeah, that's correct.
You hear that?
I do hear
Yeah.
you. Yes.
Chat was
I hear
probably
you,
quiet
Wario.
for you. It will be louder now.
All right, I'm gonna wait a second. I'm gonna do something to the. Just wait a second. I'm gonna do something on the Discord to see if we can like fix Mike's.
Yeah, looks good.
Camera.
What happened there?
I don't know. You got disconnected for a second.
Okay. Christian just changed.
Like, Christian's changing our server.
Yeah.
The server. You still look super duper. Yeah.
It's
still
yeah,
look the
right there.
same.
Yep. We're gonna be fine.
All right. Yeah.
Let's just go. Let's see.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, if Discord continues at this rate, we'll try to like Riverside or something next time.
I'll got the new computer next time. Let me close up some stuff here, free up some memory.
Oh, thank you to the podcast producer. I won that vote. Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready. If you guys are ready.
I was born ready.
I'm ready.
All right. I'm counting us in. Let me look at the rundown.
Mike, this
There
is
you go,
your
that fixed
podcast,
it.
by the way.
I know.
All right.
I was just fixing things. See, okay, fix it. Just close some memory on this shitty old computer.
Yep, that's a good move. In 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof! Hi, I am Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, big switch to Blowout!
It's a blowout!
Donkey Kong! He's finally back to kick some tail. We got a launch date. We have a price. We've got some other numbers following dollar signs that may upset you. And we're going to talk about all of it. Very exciting stuff here, Jeff. Big switch to direct was today. It was an hour long of all interesting info, right? Whether it was good news or bad news or weird news, all of it very interesting.
Yeah, and it continued afterward as well, where we actually got the price following the direct. Pretty clear that they didn't want to hard code a price into the video itself. They were probably like, we recorded this last month. We don't actually know what it's going to be. And I bet even now they're like, maybe it should have been higher for various reasons that are happening. It's wild. I overall was, I'm excited for a Switch 2, Mike. I can't help that I'm a mark. And I kind of have to recognize in this situation that there was almost nothing. Like, I was excited for the Wii U. Like, so who am I to talk?
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, I'm a sicko, and I need to recognize that a little bit. And yet, boy, Donkey Kong looks really fun, man. I'm going to play it real bad.
Look, being excited for the Wii U at launch is a little gross, because like what you had Zombie U and another new Super Mario Brothers at its launch.
Yeah.
Maybe you convinced yourself Nintendo Land looked cool. I don't know.
I probably
But yeah.
did, and I never played it.
Here we have the Mario Kart game. Looks great. We got the new Donkey Kong. It looks really good. There's all sorts of fun things here. Jeff, we're not going to dilly-daddle here too much. Let's just get into it, because there is a lot to talk about. Thank you, everybody who is joining us live. Thank you for the super chats. We will read those during the show.
Yeah, if you have
so
any
keep
specific
sending them in.
questions, super chats, we'll talk about them all.
Yeah, thank you. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/GameMess. You can follow Jeff and I on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jeff Grubb, twitch.tv/Tokoto. Either of those or the Patreon gets you access to special Discord channels where we do some other fun things. But Jeff, let's get into this. Starting with that price and release date. It is coming out June 5th. Maybe a little bit on the earlier end of like what we could have hoped for, honestly. That is 2 months away, so that's wild. The price in the US, $450 for the console, $500 for one bundled with a digital copy of Mario Kart World, the name of the new Mario Kart game. Pre-orders are going to start on April 9th. Jeff, we tried to guess the price last time, and I feel like we both believed it'd probably be more like 450 and 500, and we still had some kind of weird glimmer of hope. We went with 400 at the end there.
Yep.
I wasn't shocked at this price reveal, though.
Yes, and and I think like God, as we talked it out over and over again in like the last week, I was definitely like it like struck me. I'm like, they're going to bundle in Mario Kart and charge $500. Like I think I was talking to Nikki on some show somewhere. It must have been Grubb's gimmick somewhere.
Yeah, you did mention it somewhere.
And I was like, that's how they'll get away with this. And that's exactly the move they did. And like, so I'm not surprised at all. And yet you're right. Last week in that moment where it's like, it's just going to be 400. They don't want to go too insane. And now again, in this moment, right after the direct, just, Trump announced a bunch of tariffs on Vietnam, China, Japan, and like basically the rest of the world. But they're massive tariffs on China and Vietnam, the places where Switches are made, those two countries. And so Nintendo's probably like, we should have charged more. But I do think that this pricing is with potential tariffs in mind for sure.
I mean, what's the big problem, Jeff? Nintendo's going to open up all the factories in the U.S. That's an easy thing to do. They'll
Super
do that.
easy. Yeah, we're going to reindustrialize this country in an instant for sure. The price of the console is one thing. I guess this is your show. I don't know how you want to do this. Do you want to talk about game pricing right now as well? Should we do all the pricing chatter in this moment?
Why don't we just do that, Jeff? Because like that, I think is almost throwing people off even more than that. Because we're still getting used to $70 games in some ways here from Nintendo. Haven't had much of that. And they didn't talk about this pricing stuff during the direct. This all came out kind of like piece by piece in other places, digital stores, Nintendo's website, press releases. And I think the biggest shocker is that Mario Kart World, the video game, is going to cost $80.
Yeah.
Now, that's not some kind of standard. The Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to cost $70. There's some other weird pricing things going on there. But there it is, Mario Kart World at $80. That's the one that threw me for a loop. That's the one I wasn't mentally prepared for.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you can't talk about that without mentioning, really, it's the way most people are going to get this. The vast majority of people are going to pay $50 technically $50 for Mario Kart World because they're going to get it bundled with the Switch 2 at $500. That's just how most people are actually going to get this game. And then if people want to buy it physically or digitally separately, I saw a million people like saying it was 70 digital, 80 physical, or 80 digital, 90 physical. I think we looked into it before the show. It's just 80 for both as far as we can tell, right?
My understanding is that it's 80 everywhere. Chad, if you think that's wrong, you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's just 80
MSRP
everywhere.
it was $80, and that's manufacturer's suggested retail price. So that's the price it should be at retail, is $80. Whatever. Point here is that I think they expect people to be like, just get this when they buy the Switch 2. And so this is part of, at least part of it is make people feel really good about getting that $500 version because they want people to buy the $500 version.
Don't you get the sense that people are instead feeling bad that video games cost $80? I mean, if that's the thinking, I don't know if that's working.
Well, I mean, they're feeling bad about the game costing $80, but no one's talking about the fact that no one's really mentioning that the Switch is $500. They are focused on the game. And so it's like, people are going to want the console. And it's just, you're right. It's not perfect, but they also do want to charge more for games. Like that is definitely part of this. That's the other side is manufacturing physical games usually happens in Mexico, happens in a few other places, Taiwan, other places like that. They get imported into the country. You're gonna have to pay tariffs on those things now as well. So this is about them like setting, like you said, it's not a standard, but this is about like setting a possible standard for the rest of this generation in case they need to start charging $80. They didn't want to be in a situation where we get a year later and Grand Theft Auto does come out at $100 and everyone's like, okay, now we're good to go to 80. And Nintendo's kind of left behind being like, oh, it's going to look weird if we start charging more for our games now. So they have two. They have a $70 game and an $80 game. So they could like do either one going forward for any game at any moment. And I think they want to have that option. It's all because of the global economic scenario that we're in right now, where they can't really come out with clear, stable pricing because nothing's clear or stable in this moment.
Let's talk about some of these games, including this $80 one. And, there's no point trying to figure out why this one is $80, aside from just the fact that it's going to be the most popular game on the system. So maybe that's your reasoning right there. So, Mario Kart World, that is the name of this new Mario Kart game. And kind of, the thing we were thinking is going to happen is what's going on there. There's an open world element to this. You can kind of drive around freely and go to these bespoke racetracks that way. I Jeff, still have some questions about do you have to do that? Can you just play like a classic cup and just go race from race from race? What about the classic tracks, things like that? Are they going to be thrown into this open world? But still, it's neat to see them do something ambitious like that, something new like that for Mario Kart. And that's not all. There's also new mechanics like grinding. There's a ton of new playable characters in there, including a lot of just enemy types or other characters from the Mario world. You could be one of those dolphins from Super Mario World that it's just kind of floating above a bicycle.
And those aren't even enemies, right? You can ride on those guys, right? They're like friends.
You can ride on them. There's something like friends. So a lot of characters, a lot of neat looking tracks. There's the grinding. There's a lot of costume changes. That looks like a lot of fun. I'm not sure if that's a gameplay mechanic or a cosmetic one, but that alone is pretty neat. Launching with Mario Kart was pretty much a no-brainer, right? Mario Kart 8, a huge deal on the Switch. How are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we know they want to sell Mario Kart with this system the entire generation long, like they did last time. Again, having it positioned as essentially a pack-in game at the $500 price is how they're trying to sell it. Makes it feel like, okay, it's almost the default, and for many families it just will be. For many gamers it will be. So I'm like, okay, that all makes sense. And then when I look at the game itself, I'm pretty excited. It is, when we saw the first teaser the first Switch 2 reveal, the kind of Switch 2 initial thing that they did, it was man, okay, that looks pretty familiar, but there were hints that it was open world. And then I started imagining what it would be like to sort of roam around a open world map with Mario Kart characters, with friends online, or kind of do things where I'm like, oh, I'm going to go do this race, set a time, and it'll notify my friends asynchronously. That sounds awesome to me. So I personally am thinking this is going to be a very, very good game. I'm going to enjoy it quite a bit. And I think it looks fantastic. It is at that point where as soon as Nintendo went HD, I think they looked around and like, look, we don't need fidelity much higher than this in terms of pixel count and polygons. Our art is working really good at this level. What can we do to make these games look a little bit better? And what they did was, the one thing that maybe was a little bit stiff in previous Mario Kart games is the animation. It just is bouncy and alive and feeling like these things are physical objects actually interacting with one another. And I'm really impressed by that. So it's got the juice in terms of the looks for me. And then I'm already imagining all the fun ways I'm going to interact with this game in online multiplayer scenarios.
Yeah, part of me is is it just the influence of Next Level, or is Next Level directly helping? Because this, Donkey Kong, just the expressiveness of everything
That's a good point.
Is really nice.
I definitely get the sense that's that they learned, everyone looked at Luigi's Mansion 3 and they're like, wow, that really set itself apart on the Switch 1. That's one of the best looking games of the generation. That's the direction we should be going. So yeah, I bet they have best practices learned from Next Level.
The next game we saw, Jeff, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. It's just kind of this little sort of tech demo-y thing where you
cost
walk
$160.
You walk around a Switch 2 and sort of explains the features of it. There's some mini games revolving around the features, like the mice. We'll talk about that, where you can, do putt-putt and stuff like that. Jeff, this had this is a bundle in, who's-y, what's it written all over it. Until it's not. They said you're going to buy this thing. It does not just come with the Switch 2, even though it basically looks like a much worse version of Astro's Playroom. They haven't said how much this thing is. But boy, maybe that's the problem, Jeff. There's all these things here that's just a little bit you're charging for that.
Yeah.
This is costing a bit more than I thought. Right?
I went from
kind of all over the place.
I think I was like, this thing is so cute. This is great. And then as soon as they set a price, I'm like, this is garbage. Look at this piece of trash. This is get out of here. Astrobot should take a dump on you. I mean, it's not even just Astrobot. Like I keep mentioning, like the Steam Deck came with a little game that was like this interactive toy to show you all the Steam Deck features. And Valve did that for the VR thing as well. And that was like a little VR experience that was really impressive. And all those things are free and just they're there to like prove the concept. And this thing that looks more like something you would find at a kiosk at a store just to show off the features. It looks like a commercial for the device. They're charging for it. I really, really don't get this one. Maybe we're missing something, Mike. Maybe there's a lot more to it. Like maybe you like it, like it's an unfolding like meta puzzle game or something like that. The way they presented it though was, no, we're just going to teach you about it's going to tell you where the magnets are and the Joy-Con. And I'm like, well, why am I paying for this?
It seems bizarre if there is something more to this. And like, maybe the price is $1. I don't know. But then it's like, at that point, then why are you charging me for this? It is real weird to me. Again, this seems to have just pack-in tutorial fact. Like, this is like the PowerPoint that they showed executives to explain what the Switch 2 was going to be in a gamified form. So yeah, that was another weird thing that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, I mean, there were like mini games in there. You take the mouse and you do golf swings or whatever in a putt-putt. But that looked like trash. It looked bad.
Yeah, wasn't like there wasn't any kind of fun aesthetic to it or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like even the fun aesthetic.
It looked like a Flash game.
Yeah, all the fun aesthetic that was there in like the part where it's teaching you about the magnets that kind of looked like Clubhouse games was not present in the gameplay stuff itself. So I'm like, I just don't know what we're doing here.
One of the things that you will learn about in this weird little game is the C button, Jeff, which stands for game chat. Yeah, right. So this is going to be the kind of like communication social hub button thing. So they basically have put their own Discord into the Switch 2. There's going to be a microphone on the Switch itself, right? Is that how that thing's working?
On the top right of the Switch's body, there is a little slot there that the microphone is housed in.
Right. And, you know, like in this video, the guy sitting on his couch and the Switch is all the way over there. And boy, did it make me think of We Speak when I saw that.
It's all I could think about is We Speak's Nintendo voice channel or whatever it was called. That was really weird. That's how it's going to work. Now, they have NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is going to help with like clearing up the voice and making it sound a little bit better. But still, I prefer a microphone right next to the mouth.
Yeah. So, and there's some party stuff here, and some of that means, oh, you can look at what your friends are doing in their games at an incredibly low frame rate while you're playing. Yeah. So again, it's kind of like Nintendo's Discord. Hey, at least this stuff is inside the Switch 2 this time and not on the app. It seems like a step in the right direction. We didn't hear anything about friend codes. There might be some neatness to all of this. And speaking of those little screens down there showing gameplay, they can also show faces because there is a Switch 2 camera. That's right. They're making their own camera. It'll be available at launch, $50, which isn't too bad for a USB-C camera, I suppose. I don't know how high the quality is going to be on this thing.
And everyone,
the Switch 2 will just use other USB-C cameras as well.
People mention that. I think that's accurate. Nintendo's like Switch 1, surprisingly, you could plug any USB mouse in there. So I think they're saying it will kind of work very similar to that. Real quick though, the frame rate on the game sharing was bad, and yet I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it is meant for you to be playing your own game, glancing down and seeing what your friend is referencing when they're playing their game, whether you guys are playing the same game or not. They showed a bunch of scenarios somewhere everyone was playing something different, and they were just hanging out. And I'm probably not going to do that, so it doesn't bother me personally. But even if I did, I get why they're like, no, we don't need to use resources to give you 60 frames per second. That's not what this is about. This is not Twitch. It is just like you can look down, kind of see the last 5 frames per second of what's going on in their game, and you get the idea. And that way resources can be saved for the game you're playing yourself, which is more important. Not that it's not bad. Yeah. It's bad, but I don't think it's a big deal.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to look. I'm just probably going to be using Discord still if I'm playing a Switch game. Like, maybe there's some instances where for some reason I am doing a handheld game with somebody in my bed, and this stuff will be nice to have.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's good. Nice to have, and they showed some cool implementation with like Mario Party.
There is also local play with Game Share, so you can, play some games with just one copy, right? So
And
that's the thing.
AJ mentioned in the replies on when I asked, like, hey, what's going on? If anyone has any thoughts, let me know. He said he looked into it and he thinks it's streaming from the main Switch out to the other Switches, kind of Wii U style. So it's like everyone can see their. I don't know if that's exactly how it works, but I guess it's not download play. And he mentioned because of that it'll work with Switch One. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't hear that. So I guess I want to look into it a little bit more and find out exactly how that functions.
One thing that we will be using this camera for is some game functionality, including some new stuff coming to Super Mario Party Jamboree. And Jeff, this is where we're sort of learning about the strategy of some games getting enhanced versions on the Switch to
big boy upgrades.
Start with Super Mario Party Jamboree. Yeah, which is just getting an expansion basically. There's this Bowser's Live thing where it's kind of like this game show, and it's a lot of camera-based mini games, like you're bouncing Goombas on your head, things like that. So that kind of looked like a pretty fun time.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Party, but iToy, yeah, of course that's an idea that always made sense. And sure, Nintendo's 25 years late to iToy, but whatever. I still think Mario Party is a good sort of fertile ground for that sort of idea. And also, like, it's a little bit different because online play will be there and be more robust. So playing with other people and being able to see their bodies do funny things across the country, that's cool. I like that.
And it's not just Mario Party. Kirby and the Forgotten Land's getting a Switch 2 edition. That one's coming out on August 28th.
DLC,
the Mario Party
right?
thing is July 24th. So, it's enhancements, improved frame rate, but it's also, like an expansion. It's a Star-Crossed World is the name of it. So, there's like new game content in that one. And then we were waiting for this. We thought maybe just Breath of the Wild. It's both. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting Switch 2 editions that have improved frame rate, resolutions, HDR support, faster load times, and support for the Zelda Notes game-specific surface via the Nintendo Switch app. This is kind of just the map screen on your phone kind of thing. I think it was Lucy who reminded me of the one Mordor game that had something like this with the Palantir app or something like that. So that's kind of neat. But hey, it's like it's basically like the Wii U, and Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game. Hey, I gotta admit, seeing Breath of the Wild running at like 60 frames per second, that hit me pretty good. I'm like, yes, I can't wait to do that.
Yep. I mean, even as someone who may have found ways to have an improved Switch that can run these games better, it's just something about having it on the real hardware and making it work that way. It looks really, really fantastic. So I'm excited about that. And really, this doesn't seem too egregious, Mike. This upgrade strategy where you're paying for some of them. All the ones where you're paying for seem pretty robust. The Zelda ones, those are paid, right?
Yes, those are going to be paid also. Now, some of these, I'm not sure exactly which ones are going to be included in NSO. And there's a couple more we know here real quick.
The Zelda ones are included in expansion pack, by the way. Those ones I know for sure. The two Zeldas are part of expansion pack.
Pokemon Legends ZA, which is coming later this year. That's going to have improved frame rate resolution, which is good because, the Pokemon games have been suffering in the frame rate department. So even though this isn't going to be the prettiest game, at least seeing it run a smooth frame rate was nice. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, though, it's getting a lot of stuff in the Switch 2 edition. It has mouse controls, which, the Joy-Con to mice thing is real. Enhanced resolution, textures, and load times. I mean, Jeff, they're talking about 4K 60 FPS and 1080p 120 FPS. Those numbers are good, but they said those numbers, right? Nintendo was talking about frames per second. That's right. Crazy.
That alone is very strange. I bet that's like Retro being a really powerful technical company and like having a good grasp of the technology, and then being like, no, this is important. You got to actually say the numbers. But hearing a Nintendo Direct say 120 frames per second, even saying that the screen of the Switch 2 is 120 frames per second was weird. Having this game promised to run at that frame rate was weird and exciting. I'm down.
Now, I think we don't know exactly how much buying an upgrade is, but we do have prices for just the box Switch 2 versions of these games. So Breath of the Wild on Switch 2, for example, is $70, so $10 more. Whereas Kirby in the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition with the Star-Crossed World thing, that is $80. So $20 because it's not just enhancements, it's the campaign. Now, part of me, Jeff, is like, well, there's new stuff there. So yeah, they could charge a little bit more. But they did charge us more for Bowser's Fury, though, right?
Yeah, they didn't. And like, it's just confusing because, Donkey Kong was the best looking thing in that. Why is that only 70? Is that a budget game now, Mike? I'm like, it's just I'm like, I don't know what to think.
It's like you have to think of it as you're getting Kirby and an expansion at the same time.
You're right. That's the only way it makes sense.
I mean, what's sending me is, look, they never dropped the price of Breath of the Wild in the 8+ years it's been out. Again, 8+ years. And now they have found a way to increase the price. It is now more expensive. Breath of the Wild is now a $70 video game on the Switch.
Shit. God damn it. You're right. Fuck. That's crazy.
Like that. Right. And I remember, gosh, at one point, like, maybe they'll bundle Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom together. That was the stupidest thing I ever thought.
Yeah, so like this VGC story that like the last one they posted a little bit ago. So Nintendo Switch 2 editions of original games, some are going to be 80. Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land, all those editions are $80. So
right. Again, it's Mario Kart and then the two games that have expansions along with enhancements.
Right. And what would,
right, because
Tears
of the Wild is $70.
Does Tears of the Kingdom have an expansion?
No, but that was a $70 game, so it's $10 more.
Thank
than
you.
It used
You're
to
right.
Be.
That's what it was. Thank you. I'm like, why is that? Okay, I got it now. Thank you.
So $10 for enhancements. It's $20 if it's enhancements in an expansion. That's the thinking
Nintendo,
on.
baby, let's go.
Let's freaking go! Like try to keep up, everybody. Right?
I just want to point that out. I point out the other games barely get away with the same price, and when they release like an expansion or something for their game. And Nintendo's just like, fuck it, we're just gonna charge $20.
Yep. I mean, I am gonna try to do a video tonight after we get done here about like the pricing and stuff and tariffs and all that stuff. And really, it's gonna be like they had a moment to get away with as much as they could get away with, and they're going for it. And it's like this all feels like them trying to see how far they can push it. And I think mostly they're going to be correct. Most of these games are going to still just fine. There will be some pushback, but I don't know if it'll be enough to make them feel bad about these prices. And they could always lower it if they need to. It could always be a 3DS situation. But Mike, in this moment, does this feel like a 3DS situation to you? Because it doesn't to me.
No. I mean, it certainly isn't a Wii U situation remotely.
Obviously not.
Maybe it's closer to that. But yeah, 3DS, like, we price it too much. We have to correct later. I mean, there's so many what ifs about the economy and how much money people are going to have, Jeff. I don't know, but like at a certain point, like what can they do about it? I bet they're going to be fine. There's going to be so much pent up demand for this thing for the first like year or two. It's going to be fine. We won't really know if there's a sustainability problem for a little bit here.
You're right.
Another new game. So we were wondering, okay, what's going to be the Switch 2's arms or snipper clips? It's Drag, Cross, Drive. This is a game featuring the motion controls and mouse functionality where you are playing wheelchair basketball.
Oh, by the way, I point out for the community who run a poll asking who would be the best player out of all four, Sean, Mike, and Chef, and me, and I won that poll.
For this game?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I will be pretty good in this.
All right. Well, we'll definitely we'll do a
last.
video of that. Oh yeah, that sounds right to me. That's fair. I get
we'll
that.
Forget which goal is his. We'll self-goal constantly.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of a neat idea because you can sort of imagine you have the mice and you roll them like you're on the wheelchair, and then you can shoot with the motion controls. You can ask for a pass. That's kind of neat. The presentation kind of Spartan and a little especially compared to, say, ARMS.
Yes,
which had so
good
much
point.
flavor.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about it like compared to ARMS. I don't think this game looks good. I just don't think it looks good. I don't think it looks fun. I think the Spartan visuals, as you mentioned, are a big part of that. And I mean, look, they showed us using two mice on a desk. That is not how I'm going to be playing the system most of the time. I will maybe try this a couple of times for like on stream, but
that's the thing. Like one time I will be on my desk playing my Switch 2 is when we're making content, and so yeah, then it'll work just fine.
Yeah, I still think I like the idea. I just wish it was part of a larger package I mentioned somewhere else. Make this something that's like part of a Pilot Wings like thing to show off all the things you can do with the mice. Why is it just one game that has this sort of weird scenario where people are going to be at a desk or at a table playing their Switch 2. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
You said larger package.
Shit. Add to the soundboard, everybody.
All right.
Let me. Oh no, I reset my buttons so I no longer have all the things of Dan talking about his penis.
Dang it. We have the third-party montage at this point. Jeff, all sorts of things. What's wrong? What's that look?
The TV just beeped at me. The Xbox says it's going to turn off in 5 minutes. The kids are playing Goat Simulator.
Oh, fun. So yeah, see those third-party games. Deltarune is going to be the first 4 chapters of that together on this game. I think there's still more coming, actually. My understanding of Deltarune confuses me every time.
Oh, there's more than this? I thought this was like... I don't think
this is the complete edition still. No, I think there's still more than 4 chapters.
All right, then.
Yep. Borderlands 4, that was a jump scare when Randy Pitchford showed up wearing something.
A rat on his head is what he was wearing.
Civilization 7, the Switch 2 edition, has mouse support. It looks nicer. So that's nice. Cyberpunk 2077, Ultimate Edition. There's a lot of blank editions, right? It's not just
that seems like a Nintendo
game
thing
on the Switch.
Yeah, I think that's probably like
armored editions.
Yeah, and I think that's like probably Nintendo talking to these partners and be like, look, yeah, absolutely, we will have you there, but if you want to be in the direct, you got to do a little bit more. That it feels like that maybe that sort of conversation happens. I don't know like how long ago that happens because I'm sure they have to do a little bit extra. But I think this is good. It makes me slightly more interested in buying these games again or playing them for the first time on a Switch too.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. We were hoping we would see this and or Rebirth. Just this one for now.
Yeah,
it looks really nice. That's exciting. This is the only Final Fantasy thing we saw. We did not get Final Fantasy IX Remake. That's okay. Still plenty of time for that to happen.
Yep. I definitely. I was lined up with what you saying. That it could show up here. It was a big event. And we got all this news about that. They could do it anywhere.
They can do it anywhere. That's fine. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. I think we thought that Elden Ring made a lot of sense as one of these first big third-party games to come here. So it's neat to see it here. You know, so a lot of these sports stuff, I'm like, yeah, that looks really good on Switch 2. This one, I'm like, that game is on Switch 2.
Yes. I'm like, surprised it's even there. Elden Ring was a PS4 game, and, it looks like the PS4 version of Elden Ring.
Christian's going off with his the combat in Final Fantasy VII Remake take again. Just wild. Wild.
He actually just is factually wrong. It's so damn good.
I can't.
Hades 2. They just kind of talked about the stuff. We were hoping, maybe Hades 2 is a launch game for the 1.0 version. They showed it here. They said, hey, it's coming to Switch 2. It's coming to Switch 1. But we don't have a date for that 1.0 edition still.
Yep, that's okay. But I'm not surprised it was in this direct. That game did very well on Switch.
Street Fighter 6. Hey, really neat to have this game on Switch too. It's nice to be able to just do your practices, play some local matches, all sorts of things on this game. I liked playing Street Fighter 4 on my 3DS, so this is much better than that.
Is there
with the over-the-shoulder camera? Let's fucking go.
Is there a Joy-Con that has 6 face buttons? 6 face buttons, Joy-Con, because that'd be cool.
Yeah, cool.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, not that I see. Mike, they should make that.
You want me to talk about this version because it's a new release of Street Fighter 6?
I mean, briefly, I know there's I think it has all the characters.
Yeah, they always do this kind of thing where every couple of years they release a version of the game that has all the DLC and all the characters in one nice little package. And this is the Street Fighter Year 1 and 2 Fighters Edition. Good name. And it comes with all the DLC characters, all the colors for all the skins and all the colors for the characters and the stages. So, and they said that they're gonna announce more stuff for this edition, which I don't know because we're still waiting for what's her name, the new character, Elena.
Elena.
Yeah, we're waiting for her to drop, and then it's the new season because it's a new year. So maybe they're gonna announce more stuff for this edition. So keep your eye out if you like Street Fighter.
Next one was Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. Not a game I was expecting to get a sequel on the Switch too, but hey, why not?
Yeah, it kind of felt like if they were going to do that dance again, it would just be like make a new game and try again. But maybe it did fine enough. I don't know.
Now, I will say that first game, very ugly. Not a good-looking game on the Switch 1. This one looks prettier.
Better.
Looks prettier for sure.
I'm going to play a mecha game. I'll just play Armored Core 6 again.
EA showed up Split Fiction, EA Sports FC, EA Sports Madden, NFL. EA has always struggled to get too much of a foothold on Nintendo platforms, but here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to have their sports games in a handheld format, and most of them are on Steam Deck at this point, not all of them. I just, NHL. Give me NHL and I'll be happy. They're probably not going to do that, though.
Tony Express Gear 3+4, Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman World of Assassination. So that's great. This is one that I really wanted to see on here. Love that game.
Was that that was Signature Edition as well? And it's got Mario costume, kind of. You dress in a red suit and have a mustache, and a Luigi costume, a green suit with a green mustache. So you can be Luigi and kill CEOs in that game. There's a whole level where you can kill CEOs.
There's even like Mario themed items, like some kind of, I think, poison mushroom or something. I don't know. So that's really neat. They also surprisingly teased Project 007 again here, which is smart to remind the Nintendo fans who, a lot of them grew up with GoldenEye. Hey, don't forget, we're making a new 007 game. Now, I bet that game is not going to be very much like GoldenEye, Jeff, but still, it's exciting. Yeah. It's nice to see a reminder that that's coming along fine, because that's not an assurance these days with a lot of known game projects.
Yep, IOI is like one of my true love studios at this point. Just, God, I adore Hitman so much. I can't wait to see what they do with Project 007. They got a lot of cool partnerships baking that they're doing with like Microsoft and publishing other games. Like they're publishing someone big's next game. I can't remember, but it's like, I just love seeing them. Great that they're on Switch. I hope that Hitman version sells a ton.
Let's see here now. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. This is one of my favorite 3DS games. One of my favorite JRPGs. This game is basically Final Fantasy V with the job system and all that stuff. An incredible soundtrack. I like this game a ton. I hope more people get to experience it here. Just an HD remaster, not like a full-blown remake or anything. But I thought that was a pretty game for it. I liked the chibi art style. I liked the sort of painterly backgrounds and all that stuff.
I'll probably try it because I remember you describing the combat in it once about how you can use a future move and like kind of do everything really fast or something like that. And I always wanted to try that for myself.
It's like when you guard, you stockpile a turn.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So then, like, in one turn, you can use 4 turns if you have them stockpiled.
Yes.
You can do big damage.
I think that's such a cool idea. And so I always wanted to try that for myself. I'll probably play this version.
Yakuza 0 Director's Cut coming. That's great. I've always been told I should play this game, so there's a way to do that. Katsumi Gami, Path of the Goddess. I hope that finds more people on Switch 2. And then just like right in the middle of this, getting less airtime than most things, Hollow Knight Silk Song just showed up. All it said was 2025, which, hey, that's still something at this point. And I'm still so confused because I'm like, okay, maybe this is mostly an Xbox thing. No, it's still at a Nintendo thing. Not making a big deal about it. What did you make of that, Jeff?
I mean, I think the simplest solution here is that team is still hard at work trying to finish that game, and this is the best they could provide in terms of assets. And so it's like, here's some footage, and we can't like even come talk about it or whatever. Because I mean, they had the what's his name from who used to be at GameSpot talk about Hades 2. He like came up there and had a conversation with the camera about that game. And I think Hollow Knight and Hades are in a similar position in terms of popularity on Switch. So it was weird. Great Kazavin. Thank you, everybody.
2 Point Museum. Hey, that's going to have mouse support and stuff. You've all heard me talk about this game. If you maybe like don't have a PC or what have you, and you still want to play this game with mouse controls, check out 2 Point Museum. It rules. I'm glad that Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 is getting a new version 2S. The first Puyo Puyo Tetris was a great early Switch game. It was. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Outlaws. So this is interesting. One, I didn't really get a chance to play this game, and this seems like a good way to do that. And two, Ubisoft traditionally is there for Nintendo, especially early on. But they're not here this time that much. It's basically just in. But Ubisoft is in a strange place right now, Jeff.
Yeah, I do take this as a sign that they're in an especially strange place, because them not being there for the launch of a new Nintendo console, they just have not missed one of those ever, really. So this is strange. The company that made Red Steel, right? They didn't have something ready to go other than a port of a game that's like really Star Wars Outlaws. I'm happy about that. I like Outlaws a lot, but it doesn't feel like the home run for them at the launch of the Switch 2. That game is not on PS4 and Xbox One, right? So what is this version going to look like? I'm curious.
What they showed, I thought looked good at that time.
It did look good. You're right.
Professor Layton and New World Steam showed up for a second, and then the big reveal of the day, Jeff. Arcade Archives 2. Ridge Racer. This is the launch game. This is, for people who don't know, Arcade Archives. They just port arcade games into the eShop. And it's great. It's a great way to play a lot of classic arcade games. They do a lot of Neo Geo stuff, all sorts of things. They even did Donkey Kong, right? Well, here's the original Ridge Racer, which was a very important arcade game. One of the first 3D racing games after Virtua Racer. You know, we joke about Ridge Racer a lot here, Jeff. I was like, do you think we'll see it at this event? Now, look, not exactly what I would have ultra hoped for, but the fact that Ridge Racer was here at all, that popped me. Somebody's thinking about Ridge Racer out there.
Yeah. For me, the excitement
is... I'll have fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'll play this. It still has a lot of that charm. And, it's got a little bit of a different charm being an early 3D arcade game. For me, the excitement definitely is Arcade Archives 2. And this being a whole new series of Arcade Archive games. They've done Arcade Archives throughout the entirety of the Switch 1. Now, Arcade Archives are on a lot of other platforms. But it was primarily on Switch. And so having Switch 2 launch with Arcade Archives 2 and the promise of a bunch of games from this era of 3D arcade games, that's very exciting.
Right. There's a ton of those from maybe this is how we finally get Daytona 2. And a bunch of other Sega and Namco and later Neo Geo stuff. All sorts of fun.
Yeah, Soul Blade, right? That was the Soul Blade and stuff like that. That'd be cool.
First one.
Yeah.
Let's get back to some Nintendo stuff now, Jeff. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment was announced next. This is the next Musou Dynasty Warriors like Zelda game. This is the third one in the series, following the original Hyrule Warriors, which was a Wii U game, and then there was the Hyrule Warriors game that was based off Breath of the Wild. And now this is the third one. This is sort of set in that period of time that Zelda travels back to. So, I don't even know if we saw Link in the trailer. He's not in that timeline. I bet they'll slot him in somehow, one way or the other. But still, it's neat seeing Zelda fight. I'm not the biggest Musou fan. I'd be happy to check this out. I liked Hyrule Warriors 1 fine. I didn't check out the sequel largely because it looked like it ran very poorly. It doesn't seem to be an issue this time around. This game's going to come out this winter, by the way, so there's at least one Nintendo winter game.
Yeah, it doesn't do much for me. I was kind of getting my hopes up still. I know it's insane for a Mario Musou, that weird thing we joked about a long time ago. But
so many other rumors just keep coming true, Jeff. We get the Donkey Kong game. I think Special Nick had the price and date right forever ago. So it's funny because people complain about leakers, and I'm like, man, back in my day, the leakers were right about nothing. Now they're telling me about Donkey Kong games 3 years before they come out.
Yep, yeah, we got it pretty good if that's your concern. They keep doing these because these are the best-selling Musou games ever, and this one probably will be up there, if not the best-selling one ever.
Jeff, do you like pepperoni?
I love pepperoni.
Like sausage?
I love sausage.
Because I think I owe you a pizza. we had a bit of an argument about, not argument, we had a debate. Is GameCube going to be the next NSO system? And I was like, nah, I just don't see it. Even to the second before this happened, Jeff. But sure enough, they're like, hey, we got something new for NSO. And there's that GameCube logo. And even though I couldn't believe it, I get so excited every time I see anything GameCube related. And yeah, here it is, GameCube on NSO, now called Nintendo Classics. I believe 3 games initially showed here, presumably the first 3 games. The Wind Waker. So each of these are interesting for different reasons, Jeff. Wind Waker, hey, people have wanted Wind Waker HD for a long time. And these games, I don't know. They have their proprietary emulator, right? But it's upscaling these things. They certainly look sharper than before. The internal resolution, if people have used emulators before, and when you're like, oh, I'll set the internal resolution to 5x or 2x or whatever, it's going to do that. So here's HD Wind Waker. Still probably not exactly what people meant when they said that. Because, the Wind Waker HD on Wii U is not even so much about the visuals. In fact, some people prefer the way the shaders look in the original game.
Sure.
That version of the game had, it trimmed down the Triforce quest. It gave you that one sail that doubles your sailing speed. It had some edits and some quality of life features that people like a lot. And for some people, it's going to be hard to go back to the original version.
Yeah, I really like the bloom and stuff in the HD version. So yeah, I'm bummed out. I don't know why Nintendo makes the decisions they make. It's, I heard forever ago. I've said this a million times. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker were ready to go. Just kind of sitting there. And even if they weren't, like those games, they made those for the Wii U, and they've ported a lot of Wii U games. Why wouldn't they just put those out on the Switch? They would sell very well, or now Switch 2. But I think they're just like, we want to have stuff for GameCube, Nintendo Switch Online. They've known they were going to do this for a long time. If you go back to listen, I think this was originally going to be a Switch Pro thing, Mike. And that's probably when they decided against this, because that's when those rumors of GameCube on NSO really started. It was alongside the Switch Pro rumors. So I think they cut their plans then. They're like, let's just focus on this for NSO because that's more important to us in this moment. And we have a lot of other Zelda projects in the works to fill out the one Zelda game per year quota that we want. Like the Muso game. Yes.
I mean, do you think it's dead? Do you think it's still like, hey, maybe in a couple years now
I think
it's fine to give us that? Yeah, I think it still happens
an
on
anniversary.
Switch 2, but
yep.
Yeah. I'm enough of a Wind Waker fan, Jeff, that I won't mind playing this version. I was always a defender of that Triforce quest. Me. I'm like, it's just playing the game. Just sail around and get some stuff, whatever. I'll be happy to play again, but I would have preferred the HD version for sure. Nobody complained about seeing SoulCalibur 2 show up here. What a great early choice. SoulCalibur 2, probably my favorite 3D fighting game ever.
Online multiplayer, yeah.
With online multiplayer.
Kind of.
And this is the version with Link, because the gimmick was, this game was PS2, Xbox, GameCube, each had a guest character. Xbox had Spawn, PS2 had Heihachi.
Yeah.
GameCube had Link from The Legend of Zelda, with the Legend of Zelda stage, with the orchestral arrangement of the main theme. It is the coolest thing. This game is still a ton of fun. I played it not too long ago. I adore this. I like it even more than the original. It's got a great single-player adventure style mode as well. A ton of unlockables. It was a very pretty game then. It still looks really good today. This is one that I would have hoped they'd do. To just see it right away, yes, perfect. What a good one to get in here right away.
It's a good sign. Like, they're like putting that in the first batch. I mean, that is really, there was a lot of, that's Namco, right? There were a lot of Namco games on GameCube that are going to be worth bringing over. And obviously they have a close relationship. So that'll keep happening. But it's like, all right, hell yeah. My memory of SoulCalibur 2 is going to a friend's house who had it. I played a ton of SoulCalibur, and I was pretty good at the game, and he just kept beating everybody as we all took turns going against him. And then I realized he had a special mode on where we were playing the custom characters, and his Link had a healing factor on. So we'd be halfway through the fight, and he kept healing, and no one could beat him. So I played as Link, and then eventually his character Link, and beat him because I also had the healing thing on. Cheap cheater.
That's great. The next one, another first round draft pick. If you had to pick these games yourself, it's F-Zero GX, a game we all have been begging to come Switch in one way or another. And this game doesn't really need much in the way of new features. It's a little difficult. Maybe if they could have tuned the difficulty, whatever. But no, I'm fine just having this game ported on the Switch 2. It is such a gorgeous game, amazing soundtrack, just a fun game to look at. An incredible sense of speed. So it's like, oh man, whoever is picking these things knows what they're doing. Because this is absolutely one of the first games that I want on there.
Well, I mean, if you're going to put a game on there, you probably put Metroid on there, right? Like all the Metroid Prime games. So the two Metroid Prime games are on GameCube.
So they announced some other games that are going to come eventually here. They announced
Mario is Metroid Prime 2 in there? Okay, cool. Let's go.
We'll see. Let's see. We got Mario Sunshine, which, is already playable on the Switch in 3D All-Stars. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. That's cool. Pokemon Colosseum, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Chibi Robo. What I like about those last four games, Jeff, those are all very expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say,
retro market.
Path of Radiance is that one's super expensive. But yeah, all of those are super expensive. Actually,
Chibi Robo's like $300, and look, I'm a sicko who pays for these things. And I'm like, no, good. Yeah, shut that market down.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
these games
Just
should
put a
not be
lid
that
on it at
expensive to
least,
pay.
right? Like, put a lid on it.
Like,
So some people who are just getting it because they wanted to play it, and that's how they wanted to play it, they have this as an option now. Yeah.
Super Mario Strikers and Luigi's Mansion. But yeah, Jeff, I mean, gosh, the reason why this even came up last week when we were talking about some Metroid stuff, you were like, hey, maybe it's not, we're not going to get that Metroid Prime 2 remaster because this is going to be on NSO. Exactly what's happening with Wind Waker, but at least right now, there's no Metroid Prime 2 listed here. We don't have a Metroid Prime 4 release date yet either. We thought, oh, they're not saying it because maybe that's a launch game for the Switch U.
We're so
Doesn't
fucking
seem
back.
to be right now.
We're so fucking back. I'm back on board, baby.
You're back on board.
I'm back on board. Metroid Prime 2 and 3, a month out for Metroid Prime 4's release, just like what happened with Pikmin. Because, like, not even mention it among these games that are yet to come, announced to come later. Metroid Prime 2, like, you just talk about Metroid Prime 4, just put it in there if it's coming. And if it's not, then what's happening? It's, to me, that says there's still a strong chance that 2 and 3 will just get released as a bundle like 1 and 2 did for Pikmin. And I hope that's how it goes down, because it would be great to have all those games playable in a really good state on the Switch, too.
Right. You know, now we can even get mouse functionality. You know, I wonder, I haven't said anything yet, but I wonder if Metroid Prime 1 Remaster will eventually get mouse functionality just so we can see what that is like.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be neat. Yeah, hey, that's a good round of games there. Yeah, no Metroid Prime 2. So look, they don't have a release date, and they have said certain games are like coming out late in the year. They even say that. Do you think there's a chance they're still being coy and this thing is a launch game? Because I will say, like, the launch lineup, not the launch window, that's fine. The launch day, though, it's a little sparse, especially for first-party Nintendo games. Now, Mario Kart can just carry it, but boy, would I be happy if it was also Metroid Prime 4, which is, if nothing else, it's certainly looking like that game's not coming out on Switch before the Switch 2 launches.
Yeah. I guess I don't have my hopes set that high where it's like, hey, we can get this thing on June 5th. To me, they're just saying 2025. Now, you're right. Like, they specify late 2025 for the Pokemon game. So they're not saying that here. But I'm just reading this as it's not necessarily late 2025, but it's not 2 months away either. It's maybe 4 months away.
Christian wrote here, no brawl either. Where's my tripping at? Do you see what the tripping mechanic does to people's brains, Jeff? It turns them into mush to the point that they think Super Smash Bros. Brawl was a GameCube game. It's disturbing and disgusting.
You're right.
No Melee, though. Definitely no Melee.
No. Hey, no Melee. We haven't had Smash Bros. 64 yet. We'll get those eventually. Hey, people.
64 is not on there. But you're right. You're right.
64 is not on there yet. Melee is the biggest GameCube game. It's the best-selling one. Once we get that, it'll be good. Yeah, there's some other things here that we will hopefully see eventually. The Star Fox Assault, Star Fox Adventure. I always come to Geist, which is like, I hope we get Geist on there. Why not? That would be very funny. Eternal Darkness. I bet maybe that happens around Halloween time. But
I was just gonna say real quick, next Nintendogs, let's make that. Let's do that. Let's do the tier list of just most likely, not even the ones we want, just the most likely to least likely.
Because then there's some that like, what if they could do Metal Gear Solid with the Twin Snakes on here, and then there's some like, boy, Rogue Leader just isn't gonna happen. That's too bad. Or like Simpsons Hit and Run, that just ain't gonna happen. But there's still, you know, it's and the reason why I could never see this before, Jeff, is because it is weird because we did just get a Paper Mario remake. So do you put that on here? We do have Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. Even a lot of third parties, like Tales of Symphonia, we have a remaster, even though if they put Tales of Symphonia on here, it would run better, right? It would be in 60
That's right. Oh my God.
now.
I did. Yeah, that's right. That's crazy. Yeah. It's going to be a process for them to kind of figure it out, but there are still quite a few games that are going to come from GameCube to this, and I'll be very excited for them all.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Of course, they're selling another controller. This time it's a wireless GameCube controller, not a Wavebird, just an actual wireless GameCube controller. I got to have one of those. Gosh, do you think you think this is the end of the road? You think there's still more consoles that can come to Nintendo Classic /NSO?
Yeah, I guess that's tough. It's like Wii. There's no reason if you got GameCube running, you basically have Wii running, but then there's the input issue where it's like, yeah, they mostly are there with the motion, but there's also the pointer aspect, and like, do they fake that? How do they make that work?
Yeah.
I don't know, Mike. It's this is I think this is the end of the road for quite some time.
You know, Nikki brought us up. Look, we got Sega Genesis. That's been the only non-Nintendo console, and now the thing is just called Nintendo Classics. I know we used to hope about maybe getting TurboGrafx and Sega Saturn, Sega Master System. I just don't know right now.
Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like that's off the table.
All right, Jeff, we covered a lot here, but there's still plenty more to talk about. Why don't we take a break and we got to get right back to it.
Yep, sounds good. Oh, that reminds me.
You're right.
Sorry for all the ads, everybody. YouTube's gone crazy. They've just gone
Yeah,
nuts.
YouTube is having a day.
Yep.
Jeff, I'm gonna need your recording.
I'll be right
because
back.
Discord was been taken.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yep, I got it.
Because
problem.
you are closer to Mike, your connection with him doesn't like fuck with the audio, but because I'm like, you know, when he goes all like pixelated,
Pixelated,
thingy?
yeah. Is it giving audio
Yeah,
issues
my
as well?
audio, yes, my audio for him just goes to shit.
Okay. Well,
So I'm gonna
I'm
need
good.
your-
Yeah, we're sounding good over here, so we'll just
Yeah,
use
yeah,
this
because you are closer to him, you know,
Yep.
you don't have that issue.
one. Okay, sounds good. He's
But
just got
now
that
it seems
strict
like
nat.
Discord is just working fine.
Yep.
No, I haven't. My nat is all right.
No, his nat.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's not. Oh, he's probably double natted too.
yeah.
We should check that.
Yeah, people like Antonioni and Nick G says the mouse can be a pointer. Yeah, but sometimes a mouse
what
is
I
a
was
pointer
gonna say, yeah.
and motion at the same time,
Motion.
right? That's so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you could do one or the other. Can you do both at the same time with the Switch 2 Joy-Con? I don't know.
Fake it.
So it's they'd have to come up with
All
some
right.
solutions. Like, could they make Super Mario Galaxy 2 work on Switch 2 without any like interpolation of your I don't know. I still don't know.
You know how like I use Clip Studio Paint and some of those brushes they have tilt and you can turn a thing it fakes the tilt when you're moving in.
Yeah.
And maybe they can do.
They could do something like that. I just don't know. We'll see.
You ready?
All right.
Yep, I'm
Mike
ready.
is back. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're back. Let's get right back to it because there's plenty of bombshells still from this, including from Software's next game, The Dusk Bloods. And Jeff, this was basically just looking like Bloodborne 2. They clearly wanted to present it that way. They wanted us to think Bloodborne 2. They dropped that it is just a Switch 2 exclusive. It's not coming to other platforms. It's going to launch next year, 2026. Seemed like really exciting stuff, really cool. Then
Seemed like
it's
exciting stuff. What's your problem?
So, then we get the bullet point after the trailer. It is an 8-player PvPvE title with online multiplayer at its
It's a fucking
core.
action shooter, motherfucker.
So just give us the laundry list of why this isn't for you. I think that's fine. I think a lot of people are feeling your way right now, so you should just say it.
Yeah, I kind of just want another regular Souls-like from them.
And
at
this is
point.
not a Soulsborne. It's something else.
It's not a Soulsborne. And, it's like, let's be clear. They wanted us to think it was. Like, the trailer was very much just made it look like a traditional Soulsborne. It made it look like Bloodborne 2. And, look, we already are getting the, dare I say, maybe questionable multiplayer take on a From Software game. I had some fun with Night Rain. I just wonder how much meat is on that bone and what a lot.
He's played Night Rain. Everybody, as a reminder,
I played it.
Yes, yeah, I know that there was that
played
test.
it.
He's one of the people who was testing it. So yeah,
I thought it was fun. I thought it was also weird. It's a little weird. And this, I don't know. It's just like, what's PvPvE 8-player online multiplayer at its core kind of thing. Again, I'd rather have my multiplayer in these kind of games be that optional side thing. I don't want my Souls-like game to revolve around multiplayer.
yeah, I'm reserving judgment here mostly because I think this can work because they always have multiplayer sort of intersecting with their games in a bunch of ways. This just feels like they are moving the barrier between like when the other characters can interact with you and when they can't. And so it's like in this game, it's like they are always going to be there as potential threats. And I think as long as you are most of the time playing a game that feels like a FromSoft game where it's like you have your own goals and you're trying to accomplish them on your own terms, whether, maybe there's other people there, maybe there's not. But at a certain point, it's just going to click over. And I think it's going to be like, okay, now everybody is after the same thing. And that's going to cause you to have to interact with these other people. And I think they're good at this sort of thing, so I'm hopeful that it's like this is the one that really clicks for me. But yeah, there's a chance I'm going to play this and be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go back to Elden Ring and play a different version, play a different character in that game because that's what I really want.
What does it even look like when I play this game by myself if it revolves around multiplayer? Like, what is it basically just feel like a single player game? Is it not even work? Because, this is Night Rain doesn't let you play as 2 players. It's 3 or it's 1. When you're playing 1, it's not like the game is only designed for one person. It's like, you're playing, teams of 4 in Fortnite with just the one person kind of a thing. I don't know. Miyazaki is directing this one. Unlike Night Rain, this is his next game. So that instills some confidence. Maybe I just need to see more. It is a ways out. I was very excited, Jeff, until some of this multiplayer language was coming at me.
I think the majority of people are with you on that. I think they're feeling like, oh, this is not what I want when you tell me Miyazaki's making a new FromSoft game. But I think we just got to try it because the way they presented it does look like one of those games most of the time. And then even when there were like 2 characters walking on the screen, I watched it back. That is the character summoning an AI companion. So it's like
at that time I was like, oh, just normal Soul stuff.
I think it's good here. I think the reality. I think earlier I was saying it's going to be 2 teams of 4 going after one big goal. To me now, the more I watch that trailer, I think it's going to be more like Journey. Not exactly like Journey, where it's like going to be swapping people in dynamically, but I think you're going to go in any one instance, and there's going to be other players kind of going after the same stuff. And most of the time, you're on your own trying to complete stuff, I think.
Because when you say like 2 teams of 4 going after a goal, it just reminds me of when I would play MOBAs and like the big giant monster would spawn in the middle. So it's like, all right, go kill him. Yes. It was like, on my play level, it was basically just the team that started fighting it first would then lose a bunch of health to the monster, and then the second team would show up and kill that team, and then kill the monster. Sure. And it was not the most engaging experience for me. All my reservations aside, really interesting get from Nintendo here. They have Miyazaki's next From Software game as an exclusive to their system.
Yeah, isn't they pony up to get it? Like,
no.
This is like, no?
I think that Nintendo might be helping with some of the costs. I guess what I mean by that is, like, I don't think they went from software as like, here's a bag to make the next game exclusive, but if you want to work with us, we will give you the same partnership that we give with any sort of external studio, maybe. But is Nintendo publishing this? It's exclusive to Nintendo, so that my guess here is maybe it is, and if they're not, then I don't think they ponied up.
Okay, we got to move along here.
Yeah.
Another big game, Kirby Air Riders. We knew some kind of obscure-ish Nintendo franchise had to come back from the grave. I don't know if too many people had Kirby Air Ride on their bingo card.
Nope.
With Sakurai returning to direct this, he directed the original one on the GameCube. Lots of GameCube love today. Always makes me happy. This game's going to come out in 2025. People don't know, Kirby Air Ride was a racing game that was kind of a one-button racing game. You use the same button to sort of accelerate and basically drift and use items when you got it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It had an amazing soundtrack. I'm pretty excited to get a sequel. It's a little weird since one of the few other big Nintendo games we do know about is Mario Kart, which, has maybe the racing thing locked down. This will be a pretty different racing experience, though, Jeff.
Yeah, I think, I thought we were past the point where it's like, it's a console launch, so of course there's multiple racing games. It's like, oh no, we're still in that era. That's just forever. So, yeah, it's a little strange, you're right, because of that factor, but I'm all excited about this. Honestly, I think Sakurai just gets to do what he wants, and he wanted to do this. I think he's like, I had some ideas there, and now I know how to really make them pop, and I bet this game's going to be a lot of fun.
Now the big Nintendo game to be revealed here, Donkey Kong Bonanza, that rumor from forever ago. And look, like, the way Nintendo is, it's not like we have total confirmation that this is that Mario team. It certainly looks like it's being made from the Mario Odyssey team. This is a new 3D platformer starring Donkey Kong, a re-visioned Donkey Kong as a bit more of a dopier, arm-heavy miner like character.
Looks like this guy.
He looks like that guy from the Donkey Kong 94 cartridge a bit more. Jeff, this looks fantastic. One of the big hooks here is destructibility and digging holes. It's got that, Red Faction gorilla thing going on there. It's like, it's not just, destruction. He's lifting up pieces of the earth and swinging it to destroy more, or throwing it at enemies, or throwing a disc of the ground into kind of a top and riding it. All sorts of fun stuff here. And even though this is clearly a new take on Donkey Kong, you still have the barrels, you have mine carts. At one point, they do the ooh banana noise from Donkey Kong 64. So there is still a respect for the lineage and Donkey Kong Country and all that stuff, even though this obviously isn't rare anymore. It's not retro anymore either. This is a new team doing something very ambitious. The most ambitious Donkey Kong game we've gotten since 64, maybe since the first Donkey Kong Country. What did you think?
I was like so happy to see, like, okay, we're taking another one of these Nintendo characters and we're trying the 3D platformer again. Now, Donkey Kong is different from a lot of them. It's not like Kirby, where that had never really happened before. And that was amazing to finally see. Here, it's like, okay, they have done this before, but it was such a controversial game in terms of how people view it, that it felt like, well, we'll never get a follow-up to that. And we didn't. This is something else completely. And I just want every character that I love from 2D to get an awesome 3D platformer. 3D platformers are the best games in a lot of ways. So
they really are. I mean, you remember how excited I was for Kirby, and when Forgotten Land happened, and it paid off. And I feel a lot of that here. I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that this franchise isn't just going to get nothing but 2D games going forward. I like 2D games, but after that Wii era, is like, oh, everything's kind of reverted back to only that, and it seemed a little safe to me, a little bland.
Yep, and it's doing its own thing with the deformation and the destruction of the terrain, and it's not just like, oh, a little bit of being able to punch through the wall. Like, he's like burrowing through hard rock and like and making new pathways through the terrain. It's really cool looking. So that's my kind of stuff. I really do get excited about being able to interact with the world in that way. And then on top of that, it just looks like they've built this really well-designed world. And I just thought all of the other characters looked great. And the chimpanzees that were working in the mine with Donkey Kong looked great. I don't know. I'm just July. It's out in July.
Yeah, so that's the thing. This is July 17th. This is the launch window game. This is what Pikmin was for the GameCube, even Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube, right? Not much of a wait for this one at all. So yeah, I mean, gosh, by the time we get the thing at launch, we play through Mario Kart, we play through Breath of the Wild again, or what have you. This thing will be here before you know it. Because yeah, this is the game I'm excited for, Jeff. Like you said, it looks fantastic. I love 3D platformers. I love Mario Odyssey. And I know I was saying like, oh, the one thing that will disappoint me is if we don't see a new 3D Mario game. To be clear, I know this isn't technically that, but it counts in terms of what I meant. It slots into the same hole, and we know how I feel about slots and holes. So I am a very happy person. He's, but aside from just the destruction stuff, he looks like he's got a fun moveset. It's not just a copy paste of Mario. He's climbing up walls. He's rolling around, doing all sorts of fun stuff. My one tiniest nitpick, Jeff, and it's not an issue, but it's like, oh, here's another one of those shoulder characters who's going to do all the talking for you. There's like that little mineral thing following her around. I'm sure it's going to do all the dialogue stuff. Like Cappy, like that stupid sprite in Echoes of Wisdom. It is Nintendo's favorite trope, and they will never, ever, ever get rid of it. Jeff, the one reason why I never took much stock in this rumor, because what do you mean the 3D Mario team just isn't going to make a new 3D Mario game? They need to make those sell really well.
Yep.
And this will probably be the best selling Donkey Kong game in a long time, but it could sell 10, 20 million copies less than a Mario game. Do you think that Nintendo is just that bold and maybe just sees the value and raising up Donkey Kong's brand? Or do you think this doesn't necessarily mean that the next Mario is another 8 years away, that there's a team working on it? Maybe this game's been done for a while, something like that.
Yeah, yes. So I think that this is a push Donkey Kong situation on the one side of, we've talked about this every time this has come up, and this being whatever the next Mario team game was. I'd always say, maybe it is that Donkey Kong game. I don't know what that looks like. They have the movie coming out.
Say that. You were covering your ass pretty well. Every time you say that, I was always open to my
side. I know. I saw your eyes roll, and I'm like, Mike, they got the movie.
There's a lot of L's on this thing. I'm going to admit it. I thought a lot of things were going in different directions in this presentation.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this, but yeah, you're right. There's some considerations here. But they're pushing Donkey Kong. They have the movie. They have the theme park ride. I think they're like, let's give this
theme
the
park
bump.
ride that, by the way, is very heavily themed to the old Donkey Kong design, and I'm sure Universal loves that.
Yes. Is that the kind of thing where it's like they would update that in a few years, or is this just it? Like,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
okay.
gonna be like this for a while. It's not very. It's by the way, it is very funny how when we saw Mario Kart and we saw that Donkey Kong, that was another thing. It's like maybe it is a Donkey Kong game because why would they redesign Donkey Kong just for Mario Kart? That sure
what
was
really,
a clue.
Yep. That when I saw that, I'm like, I'm gonna keep mentioning that because that seems like that's probably what's happening there. And then the other side of it is, yeah, I mean, maybe this is another situation where this was going to be a Switch Pro thing, and then they kind of are like, we're not going to do that. It seems like it might need more power. There's a lot of extra stuff going on in terms of the physics and the interactivity of the world. So like, let's save it for the Switch 2. And in that case, Mario team, get to work on the next Mario while we save this game. There is a possibility that that's what's happening here. And right. I hope that's the case because you're right. Like, it is the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers this year. And they're not going to have a Mario game for that, it seems like, at least not a new 3D Mario game. So do they have one for the 45th? Is that what we're waiting for? I hope not.
Right. I mean, it's just really hard to imagine a 15-year gap between Mario Odyssey and the next one of those. And I know we had Bowser's Fury in there. I'm not saying like that doesn't count, but it's different. It's smaller. So yeah, it's just it's curious, and I wonder if they'd be asked about. But hey, like that is a future problem right now. I'm excited for this game.
Yep.
Donkey Kong Bonanza. Great name, by the way. Like, and again, the faces, the emotion, the animation looks so good. I mean, this is very likely going to be one of the best games this year.
Yep. Yeah, I'm putting my bid in right now on Fantasy Critic.
I put my bid in too. How much you bid?
A good amount. $7.
That's the thing. I already got a lot of stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford. I will say there was an immediate part of me. It's like, oh man, I had the very first pick in the draft this year, and I got the next 3D Mario platformer, and that game does not exist.
There's your unconditional drop right there. Although, do they confirm it not coming out? I don't know how. Well, unconditional.
That's the thing.
I think it'll drop it no matter what.
I'm like, look, I'll wait through the summer just in case, right? let me give it a couple more directs. Who knows?
Yeah, wow, that's some hopium, but I'm with you. Right. That's fine.
You say the 40th anniversary of Mario, and like they later announced some games that are just getting like smaller updates for the for Switch 2, but there isn't a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Mario Odyssey like there are a lot of other bigger or Wonder, exactly. So then maybe they're going to do that, and maybe that'll be kind of enough. Or, they could do other silly things like we got Mario 35 the one year. Maybe it's just Mario 40. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Okay, Jeff, so those are the games. Let's talk about some of these other details. There's a lot of stuff going on about the game key card going about. So basically, some of the cartridges are going to be more like keys to tell your Switch you own a game. And you're actually going to download a very large file that wouldn't fit on that card in the first place.
Like Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch now.
Yeah. So we've had things do this. We've had a lot of cases of, hey, the game's not really on this disc. I both get the red flags that this raises, Jeff, and I hate to say that I'm a bit of a I'm probably going to have mostly digital games on this thing. I don't know. How are you feeling about all this?
Yeah, I'm unfazed by it. I think some people saw this and I think they assumed this meant all games were going to be this way. That is not the case. Plenty of games are going to be on the card. And if you want to know how we know that, Nintendo said the game cards will be read faster than the Switch 1 game cards. And why does that matter unless the game's on there? So yeah, this is mostly just, anxiousness that comes from not knowing the full story yet. And some games are going to be too big for cards. And what is the alternative? Going back to a spinning physical media that has a motor? No, you don't want that in your handheld device. That kills battery. So we don't need UMDs. We don't need little discs that can have more storage and have cheap. It's going to be on these game cards that are a little bit more expensive to make than a CD or a DVD or Blu-ray at this point. Jesus, but. I think this is a good middle ground, and that means some games are going to be too big for these cards. I think there will be egregious examples where the game probably could have fit on a card, and it would have been a bigger card, like 64 gigabytes or something like that. And they're like, let's just put it on a 32 gigabyte, make everyone download the rest, and save some money. that will continue to be annoying. But God, we live in a time where these companies do a million annoying things. So this one being another one of those, it's hard for me to pick this one out and be like, this is what really bothers me.
Speaking of reasons why maybe not to get physical versions of Switch 2 games, what do you think of the sort of box art format?
I hate it.
It's
ugly.
is like this
Ugly as
giant
fuck, brother.
red space. I'll say this: like, I never liked the Switch ones either because you just have that box in the top left, so it just kind of cuts through some of the key art.
Yeah,
and it come in a random way. So at least all of the key art is here, but like they have this square Switch 2 logo, just taking up a area of dead space 5 times its size up there. It just doesn't look right to me at all. It's strange.
Yeah,
but not a huge deal. Again, I'm probably not going to own very many physical games on the Switch too, but it's kind of ugly.
Yeah, but it's like, man, like Super Nintendo box art looks so good, and N64 box art looks so good.
They used to
GameCube
be so good at it. And it's weird because they must have a lot of people whose job it is to make the stuff weird. I don't know, like, whose bosses ruined it for them, but yeah, it's weird. Amiibo aren't dead. We're getting some Street Fighter 6 Amiibo. Luke, Jamie, and Kimberly. I believe they also showed off some Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo. Did you see that?
So, yeah, someone mentioned that. I'll see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, the Guardian. So, the little Tulin, the bird guy, the Goron, stuff like that. So, hey, I'm just glad that Amiibo aren't dead. Jeff, I like Amiibo. I think some people feel this weird pressure to collect all of them. Don't. Get the ones that you want and have fun.
Tulin, Yunobo, Sidon, and Riju. Riju. So all the 4 main scions, whatever they're called in Zelda.
Yeah. Now, I hope we get things like this new Donkey Kong as an Amiibo. I would like that very much.
Yep, that'd be great.
So we talked about how other games are getting free Switch 2 upgrades that aren't going to be as extensive, but they're going to be free. And some of it is like adding functionality to it, especially with the game share stuff. But there's some games on this list that were games that weren't running great in the Switch 1, like Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yes, free updates for those. That is the thing people are like waiting for forever. Like they were going to work on an update for those to improve performance. Apparently, they were just waiting for the Switch 2.
It's going to be very interesting to see how much Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's performance can improve. Because, like, if a free update gets that thing to 60 frames per second, that's nice. Maybe I should have my expectations in check, though.
A solid 30 frames per second for those, yeah.
Game Builder Garage is one of these. Did they say mouse support is coming, or are we kind of assuming?
I assumed. I think someone pointed out that it's like that game has some implementation with the IR blaster on the bottom of the right Joy-Con. And apparently they're going to have an update to address that somehow. I don't fully understand, but it's like you should. I think that game might already have mouse support for USB mice on the Switch. So I don't know it probably wouldn't be much work to just get it to work with the Switch 2 mouse.
We got to look at the Switch 2 home screen. It looks a lot like the Switch 1 home screen, Jeff. I complained a lot back in the day when the Xbox Series XS basically looked like the Xbox One's home screen. I think this is where I want to see a little distinction. I want to feel like the thing I have is new. And also, the Switch 1 home screen wasn't that great. It was pretty bland. This looks a little bland. So this one's a little disappointing me. I wish they would do more here. Yeah,
I get that for sure. I'm at a point where it's like, I kind of wish the PS5 interface was the same as the PS4 now. In the moment, when we're getting the launch, I feel the exact same way as you. And now that we're years later, it's like, oh, the Xbox interface is really understandable and has years of refinement now and improvements. And they're still kind of getting the PS5 to be as good as the PS4. And so unnecessary changes are maybe something I'm okay with avoiding at this point. This doesn't bother me a ton, but I do want my thing that is shiny and new to feel as shiny and new as possible. So I get what you're saying.
Jeff, that's a lot of the big bullet points here. There's some other things I think might come up from Super Chats and what have you.
Yeah, we should do that because that'll get the rest of the stuff in there. And then we can wrap this show up.
Then we can figure out how we feel about this whole event. Christian, one more little break?
Yes, please.
One more little break. We'll be right back with Super Chats. Super Chats. Super Chats.
All right. Break.
Right, we could just go into it. Jeff, yeah.
Yep, I am getting the Super Chats right now.
We have a lot of Super Chats.
Yep, thank you, everybody.
A couple of more breaks, to be honest.
Is the first one Jacob Bench?
Let me see. If I go to fan
The
funding,
one. Oh
the
my
very
God,
first
It's
one.
from
YouTube
3:53 p.m., so I
besides-
bet it's the first one.
Yes, it
Yep,
is.
Jacob
Okay.
Bench.
All right,
That's
cool.
it.
Yeah, it was just YouTube kept scrolling above that, but fair enough. All right, I am ready.
All right, bring it back.
All right, Jeff, we're back. Let's see what the super chatters want to talk about.
Yep, I'm ready. Let's start here with Jacob Bench. This console surpassed my expectations wildly. I cannot wait. Let's all ride into June together. Yeah, I do want, like, it seems like there's the whole spectrum of emotions about the response to this thing. Like, what, like, I know we're going to talk about it, but like, real quick, what was your initial feeling right after the direct?
Yeah, look, my initial feeling is I really want to switch to.
Yeah.
I desperately want to switch to. I want to play Mario Kart World as soon as possible. I want to be sure I'm ready for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I want to play SoulCalibur 2 on my Switch too. I want to play Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom at 60 frames per second. No, you know, there's definitely some points of criticism for sure with the price and whatnot, but overall, I'm very excited to get one of these things. Hey, look, there was a lot of Mikey stuff going on here. They even brought out Ridge Racer, maybe just for me. They said the words frames per second, right? Like, they talked about that, and they were like, this looks better because of the FPS. I was like, oh, yes, please, thank you. So, I'm excited, Jeff. It's the new Nintendo system, and they got new great-looking Nintendo games, and GameCube is here.
With this direct being so Mikey coded, will you rescind your fuddy-duddiness for Tomodachi Life a little bit?
No.
All right. I asked everybody. I tried to get him, but
Wow,
all right.
insane.
Power Glover says, woof, woof, dogs. So glad Donkey Kong Bonanza is real. Whoever had that rumor years ago struck gold. Wish it was a launch day game since the console drops on my birthday, June 5th. But I will survive. Penis.
Yeah, I get that. There's part of me too. It's like, ooh, I wish there was 2 big launch day games, right?
Sure.
I mean, the Nintendo 64, which only had 2 games at launch, they both felt like 2 big games. I don't even know if we have our Pilot Wing 64 in this launch necessarily. It's a lot of ports and enhanced version. That's cool. But in terms of like new games, it's Mario Kart.
I'm hoping that we get a little bit more like details about like I don't know, maybe one other thing gets mentioned in the Treehouse stuff tomorrow. Like, but there's a chance. You're right. So we'll see.
They said they're going to talk about Metroid, and they're going to talk about the GameCube games. So maybe it's just deep dives. But you know, maybe they do say something about Metroid Prime 2 or what have you. Or maybe it's like, yeah, here's Metroid Prime 4's release date. We're being coy about it because we're weird. We're Nintendo. Did you see how much Mario Kart World costs? Like, that's just the way we are.
Kitty Cat Man 93 says, happy Liberation Day to all who celebrate. Holy shit. Also, $80 is too much for a digital video game. Milton Friedman ass company, Beepus. Yeah, I mean, yes.
We haven't talked about kind of the larger economic stuff going around all of this, Jeff. But, and like, look, I agree, it sucks.
I mean, honestly, they look like geniuses right now. They look like friggin' geniuses. They look like they're the ones that really knew what was happening. Everyone else is going to have to do this thing where they're like, the game I was charging $70 for is $80 now. And Nintendo's just like, oh, we got a new system. Let's just set that price right now because we don't know what's going to happen. And everyone else is going to catch up to them here pretty soon. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. And it's not just tariffs. Obviously, cost of living has gone up everywhere. There's, the inflation's really bad for years and years. But they look like they knew what was going to happen before everyone. It literally happened the same day. It's crazy.
This isn't going to be the last $80 game we see. And just wait until Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out.
I think it's $100.
There's a time when people were talking about saying $100, I was like, wow, you stupid, crazy asshole. And now I'm like, oh boy, that is going to be a $100 video game, isn't it?
Yep. L. Grug says, I'm drunk on a boat somewhere, but I need Mike to give Jeff crap about getting on the shaky elevator with the do not shake explosives in Overblood.
It's incredible.
It was
and look,
awesome.
I was like, I saw it happening, and I was like, oh, Jeff got mad at me for helping too much earlier. I can't say anything, even though I know exactly
I'm glad you didn't help because it was so funny.
I knew exactly. I was like, as soon as you picked it up, as soon as it said, don't shake or explode, I'm like, oh, so that's why that platform is shaking.
I just like was like, all right, well, I got to figure out this and that still, and I wasn't even considering, and I was like joking around with Dan, and I did not even register that it said, like, are you sure you want to get on the elevator?
That's the best, because then the message came up.
Yeah.
It was even like, oh, it really does.
And I just
make sure you don't do this.
And I just like was like, well, this is what we're doing, and it's another one of those situations where it's so funny what happens, how it actually
What's
looks.
so funny? It's like because once I know I couldn't actually stop it anymore, I scream out no, and you and Dan are like, what?
Yeah, it's like, what, Mike? What's wrong?
Finally cracked.
Oh man, it was a good time.
It was.
All right, Two Bears says, little suspicious about DK Bonanza being a discount game. Is Nintendo telling us something about the quality of it by only charging $70 peepus? I continue to feel that way, even though it's insane.
Hey, this game is only $10 more expensive than Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yeah, yep. So it's right there in that bargain bin with all the other Donkey Kong games. Yeah. It's insane. It's hard to parse.
That does kind of feel like a nice send off to that Donkey Kong Country era of the franchise. That did last for a while. Again, there still is a lot of that DNA here, but we are moving on a bit, doing something new, and I am all for it. I'm ready to go.
I'm here for it. Big Fresh 37.
Also, DKB is a good acronym. We had DKC and now DKB. And
yeah, Bonanza's a good word. Big Fresh 37. The Dusk Bloods. Now there is some stoicism and elegance for a post Dark Souls world. Yep, no doubt about it. B-Fam.
Boy, I bet after seeing Metroid Prime 4 in like 4K or whatever they're showing it at 1080. The fact that there's 120 frames per second game on a Nintendo console is wild. I don't want to hear anyone else say that they don't think that game looks good. It looks so freaking amazing, and I am so excited that I do just get to play that game on my Switch 2 right away. I'm so excited.
It's wild. It's got mouse control as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with that, especially for a game that is, it's auto aiming. You don't need precision mouse controls, but it's neat. It's neat.
It's like apparently you swap like during gameplay where it's like if you're not in combat, you can just pick it up and do the dual Joy-Con, and then when you get in combat, you can just flop it onto the table to aim precisely if you want. That's
like
weird.
Metroid Other M.
Yes, it's a Metroid Other M like.
Interesting. Finally.
Beefhammer says Sony invested in FromSoft and now they are making 2 multiplayer games. Coincidence? And then does a bunch of emojis. Being like, Also, can we get one future podcast using the Switch 2 camera? We can make that happen. Yeah,
we'll do a in-person podcast at some point when the Switch 2.
We'll just use use the capture cards we have and plug our Switch 2 in there. So we'll do it in the Switch 2 game chat button. We'll press that and we'll talk to each other in there.
Man, it wasn't very long ago where it was just 2 months until this show happened. Like, well, that's going to go by.
And now 2 months until it comes out.
Until this console's out. It's going to go by like nothing. It's going to go so fast.
It's going to fly by. Man, I cannot wait to just try to pre-order it. I want to get that secure as much as I possibly can.
I'm pre-ordering it. I don't come hell or high water. I'm getting one of these.
I'm thinking I'm going to try to talk to Jake Randall, who's a guy who is really good at that stuff. He does like streams and stuff, telling people how to pre-order. I'm going to see if I can get him on maybe a game breaking news or maybe BCR. We'll see, everybody.
I'm going to follow the account Wario64.
Wario64 is also pretty handy. All right. Sewer Link says, boys, after time to digest that direct, I feel extremely worried about Nintendo venturing into 3DS plus Wii U failures with an accountant running the ship. And then he follows that up with, tariffs aside, what's the feeling? And what the fuck is up with that GameKey DRM money move? Cyberpunk is going all on chip, but not Nintendo. Collectors beware. Collectors should beware that things are going to be increasingly digital. Yeah. And I don't know. I've seen this sentiment out there. To me, this feels a little like the hardware version of Puddle News. This is like the Wii U all over again. I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, it's called Switch 2, so people are not going to be confused about what this thing is. Maybe 3DS because of the pricing, but it's a very different world than when the 3DS came out, and this is a very different system. This looks like a premier handheld gaming device.
Yeah, I agree. I get especially the price stuff. I get it.
Yes.
I don't think this thing's going to have any troubles, at least in that first year. Then we'll see what happens after that. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. I don't blame anybody for being upset about $80 video games. That's wild. That's crazy.
Yep.
But I don't think that does not tank my excitement or my interest in this console.
Yep. All right, let's see here. Jason Fulton says, no questions, just sending money to thank you for the Metroid Prime Dark Souls response on Thursday's podcast. Thank you, fellas. Hey, we have your back on that one. Don't worry.
Absolutely. Oh, God. What? Hey, okay. What is more likely to be your game of the year right now, based off of very little, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond or Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Ooh, that's tough. I think right now, I'll call it, I think it's going to be Metroid Prime 4.
Is there a little bit of a? I'm not saying Astro Bot could eat Donkey Kong's lunch and like, hey, let's get one great 3D platformer a year. But are you a little bit like, well, I just, we had that great 3D platformer last year.
Yeah, I mean, I will if it's as good as Astrobot, I will be amazed and thrilled. And it probably could be. It's the team that made Super Mario Odyssey, so very likely could be.
It's gonna be a good game.
It's gonna be a great game. Yes, it's going to be for sure. But yeah, we'll see. You're right. There's a little bit of that Metroid Prime I've been pining for years. Okay, let's see here. Empanada Eater, shout out to Grubb for the marathon day of streaming. Yeah, it's been a long one. Place your bets now. Will Nintendo have a 3D Mario game ready to go for the new movie next year?
Oh, it's a new movie next year. I mean, what?
I'm going to say yes.
What did they have?
Yes, I think they're going to have a new 3D Mario next year.
When the last one came out. When the movie came out. I don't know if there was anything lined up with that.
Yeah, but now they've seen what happens.
Now they know.
Yes, those Mario games did really well after that. So
I hope so. I'd be super excited. Jeff, we've been making a lot of content. I'm gonna need a day off here soon. I don't know about you, bud.
Yep. Well, I'm looking forward to the weekend, and it's just Wednesday.
Oh God, I was about to say I'll take it easy tomorrow. Tomorrow's Game Mess Decides. Maybe a shorter episode.
Yes, a shorter.
Talk about the Wii U some more. Do a very stupid game. And
short episode tomorrow, everybody. I think everyone will understand. Dr. Ryan, the lineup didn't seem enough to make me want to fight for day one. But if I don't pick up one off the start, how hard do you think it's going to be to get one later? Also, how about them Padres? Also,
shut
penis.
up! Shut the hell up! We are getting destroyed by the Padres. I don't know what's going on.
Our opening series was against the Dodgers, Mike, so I was not feeling super hot about that 0-3 start.
And I was feeling pretty good with our first series there, but yeah, the Padres have been whooping us.
So I get it. Like the lineup on day one, it's going to be Mario Kart. And I think there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, I've played Mario Kart my entire life. But for me, this one looks really shit hot. It's going to be hard to get one no matter when you try to get one. I think if you have the chance to pre-order, I would take it if you plan to get one this year.
I'll say, like, look, if you can afford one and you think you're going to get one eventually, the price isn't going to go down.
It's not going to go down.
Right? No. Just if you're going to get one, I guess. Hey, Jeff, like I'm famously, I play up a bit. I'm like, yeah, Mario Kart's fun. It's not my favorite thing, but I'm pretty excited for World because they are doing some new things here, some interesting things.
I think it's going to be a great hangout game. I think we're going to have a lot of fun playing that. Yep. Especially with this community that has a long history of playing Mario Kart games. We played a ton of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for a long time there. Let's bring that back. That'll be great. All right. Simon from Saskatchewan. It's got a handful here. Let's see. Can't wait to play as Hick Yoshi with Straw Hat. Looking forward to a decade of debate whether this is Mario Kart 9 or 10. I like the name Mario Kart World. I do too. I'm glad they didn't just call it 9 or 10. They would claim that this is the 10th Mario Kart though because of the mobile game.
I like World. It's basically think Super Mario World. It kind of conveys the openness of it. Yeah, good name.
Simon from Saskatchewan says, I remember people were annoyed at Mario 35th anniversary that there wasn't a port of Galaxy 2. Will mouse feature make it possible? More Wii ports, Mike. You know what? I'm going to test this out. I'm going to go to Dolphin and I'm going to play Galaxy 2 and see if I can map the controls to the mouse and see what that's like. Because there is the issue with the Yoshi's tongue. That's the problem. It's because you play the game.
There's always an issue with Yoshi's tongue.
It's the Yoshi's tongue conundrum that we've all been living with for years now, where you play the game with the nunchuck and the Wiimote in one hand, and you can use motion controls to control Mario, and then when it's time to get Yoshi to use his tongue to grab shit out there, you point at the screen. So you're doing motion and pointer at the same time. And the Joy-Con can't do that, not easily anyhow. So I think that there was always some issues there. Now you have the mouse, maybe you can, but I don't know. I doubt it. Okay, Ali Miracle breaks up the Simon from Saskatchewan quadruple play here. So Ali Miracle says, woke Rocket League is honestly hilarious, and thank God it was Minotti that coined it. Yeah, it was. You could pull it off, and you did. That was a good one.
I knew people. It's like people know I'm joking.
Oh,
it's gonna be fine.
Absolutely. It was very funny.
The most part of me that Wesley is like, I bet some people are gonna be mad about this.
But
Not about what I said, about like some chuds are going to be like, DEI
Yeah.
sports game from Nintendo,
yeah,
right?
probably. And that is just, oh my God, getting upset about that game existing would be an insane thing because it's just like, no one's going to remember that.
What he thinks.
Yeah.
Or is he in hiding now? I forget. I forget.
Impossible to keep track.
What are they gonna say? That it's in a made-up sport when it's like a real sport? Or
Yeah.
what is this like?
It is, yeah, basically a real sport. Yeah, they don't.
Real sports only for people with working legs.
That is probably what they're saying. Yep. They're like, I thought we were a meritocracy, the best of the best. Oh, Jesus. Simon from Saskatchewan said because Mike liked N64 Bomberman, maybe he should play Bomberman Act Zero. Either of you ever play it? What's the worst refresh of IP you can think of? That one's up there.
That one, it's hilarious because it's just the really Bomberman is the one getting the Xbox 360 edgelord treatment. Like, really?
Bionic Commando made sense that it got that
Right.
treatment. Bomberman did not.
And it's also like, well, they made it like a third person behind like the shoulder camera game. That doesn't make sense for Bomberman. What the hell? Yeah, somebody should play Bomberman on Blight Club. We have to see how long it is. Maybe
Yeah.
it waits for the next Blightning round. But yeah, Act Zero's gotta happen. Worst refresh of an IP that you could think of. I mean, Bomberman is such a good one. It's almost hard
It's
now.
like the one up for sure that I think of
Yeah.
immediately.
Snow White live action. How about that?
Oh, sure, yeah. You aren't going to see that in theaters, right? You said.
No.
Yep.
I'll see Lilo and Stitch. I like Lilo and Stitch. That doesn't look as bad in the nephews and nieces like Lilo and Stitch a lot. So we'll give that a shot. But no, I'm not seeing Snow. I walked by it when I was seeing the Looney Tunes movie. I heard Gal Gadot sing through like the theater door.
Okay,
That was hard. That was a difficult experience.
Oof. All right, then Simon with one more here. Love woke Rocket League comment too. Agree it could be annoying to play, but good on Nintendo for representing people normally not shown in video games. Definitely.
Oh yeah, I like the concept. I just wish there was a bit more flair to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to give it a go. We'll see what it's like.
Yep. Jesse Sacken says, Mike, is it the new Donkey Kong game just a Skull Island Rise of Kong like? Basically the same game. Basically.
We have to get Lucy to play this in her Lucy Kong outfit.
Did you see what she did in Inzoi today?
I was watching you guys.
She took a picture of her in the Donkey Kong costume and used the AI like 3D model importer, and it like basically made a 3D model of her as Donkey Kong to put for her to use like as an item in Inzoi. It was very funny, very weird game.
Interesting. Yeah, it looked weird. She got married right away.
She got married instantly. Jesse Sackett says, tough day for Sonic Crossworlds, delayed to 2026? Question mark. Why was there news there? Or is it just because it wasn't in this? Go ahead.
I'll take a look, Jeff. In the meantime, what do you think about the possibility of Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2 now being on the Switch 2 thanks to GameCube Nintendo Classics?
I bet it like speeds up the conversation of, well, are you guys going to do re-releases of that or what? Because if not, we can just put it on Nintendo Switch Online. And I bet Sega's like, oh yeah, well, are we going to do that? Because those feel like games that should just have their own collection on Switch. They would probably, I mean, for that audience, they would eat that up. So I don't know. I think there's a good chance that it happens one way or the other, though.
Yeah. I don't see any news about Crossworlds. I wouldn't read too much into it not showing up at this thing. But, well, it's just because of how good Mario Kart looks.
Oh,
Jeff.
sure.
We're done.
But the Sega Kart racing games have always been fine. It'll be fine.
It'll come out later in the year, right? Or something, I forget. But they'll be fine.
It was always going to do what it was going to do. It's fine. Yeah. All right. Then Nintendo Eric says, how do you think the more casual audience will respond to a $450 console and $80 games? Personally, I'm very excited for Switch 2, but I'm worried they are going to price a lot of people out. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what people think about when they mean like the casual audience. Because to me, the casual audience on Nintendo consoles are families. And I do think people need to understand when like a family is going in shopping for something, the way that they look at pricing is $80 for something that the whole family is going to do together actually isn't all that much. That's less than one night at the movies. That's actually significantly less than one night at the movies.
Do you think there's going to be more of like, okay, here's the one Switch 2 for the family, and maybe less of like, well, you know, Timmy can have a Switch, and yeah, Bimmy can have a Switch as well.
There's going to be a Switch 2 Lite probably next holiday, if not the holiday after that.
They are working furiously on this, cheaper Switch 2
Switch 2
right now,
Lite
yes.
for the 30th anniversary Pokemon next mainline Pokemon game. Yeah, that's probably next year.
There's your solution.
That's when people start getting second Switch 2s, and they can respond to the pricing at that point, right? If this really is a troublesome price point and a lot of people are holding off, they can then be like, well, we'll really undercut it with the Switch 2 Lite, and it'll be $150 less. Well, that thing can go back all the way down to $300, and there you go. I mean, we do know what Nintendo really wanted to price this system at. Look at how much it cost in Japan, $330 essentially. Probably it would have been $350 in the United States had they been able to like actually do all the things they wanted to. But no, they couldn't. So it's like, yeah, I think if they have a chance to release a Switch 2 Lite, they will come in at a very aggressive price point at that point. Mikey O'Leary says, pricing aside, I'm calling it right now. Donkey Kong Bonanza will be Game of the Year, parentheses, Gorilla of the Year.
That's what the G stands for.
I think so.
I mean, again, it's the Mario Odyssey team making another 3D platformer with ambitious-looking mechanics. I would be shocked. I'd be shocked if it's not a contender.
Yeah, Nintendo clarified that he's talking about the people that got Animal Crossing and a Switch as their first game during the pandemic. And yeah, but I mean, I feel like if Animal Crossing shows up, people be like, well, I just got to have it. I don't know. I think people will be able to justify it for the most part. I think Nintendo knows what they're doing with this pricing. I know it sucks, but I think it's going to be mostly just fine for them. It's going to suck for us.
I want to ask you this because my friend, who follows gaming a little bit, but not a ton. I know we talked about Switch 2 and the Animal Crossing, and for some reason he bet me that the next Animal Crossing is not going to sell better than the first one because it's not going to have the pandemic. Like, my instinct was to say, you're crazy. Of course, the next one's going to sell even more, but I'm like, I guess maybe there's something there. Maybe, part of me is like, I bet the Switch 2 is going to be a success. I bet it doesn't sell as many as the Switch 1, right? There probably aren't going to be quite as many of those out. What do you think about that? Whose side of the bet would you be on?
That Animal Crossing game sold so well that the safe bet is it won't sell as well as that last one. Yeah, but it's going to sell better than any first-party Xbox game. It's going to sell better than most first-party PlayStation games. Probably any.
Sell better than Luigi's Mansion 4.
Yeah, it's probably going to sell better than any first-party PlayStation game. Like, it's probably going to sell better than Spider-Man 3, anything like that, going forward. So, yeah, it's not going to be at 40 million copies sold, 45 million copies sold. It's some insane number. Yeah. So it's probably not going to do that again. And even like Mario Kart World bundled with the Switch 2 might not do as well as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But we'll see. Okay, let's see here. Or do you want to take a quick break?
We're going to have a hard time comparing sales of Mario Kart now because of this bundle, unless we count the bundle games, which is always a little funky. Sorry.
Well, Switch, to be fair, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was basically bundled with the Switch the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more expensive for a while there, but that's what they're doing here. So that 55, 60 million number, a lot of those are bundled with the Switch, but those count because, that's just how they sold that game. Digital Firefly, how many months until we get Switch 2 Ambassador Program? Yeah, do you think there's a chance of an Ambassador Program this time around? Because I don't.
Well, the reason why they had to do that was because they did lower the price.
Right.
So it's to make the people feel good who bought at the high price. I don't think this price is getting lowered. Again, if it's so bad that sales are less than they think they are, then they just get aggressive with the Switch 2 Lite. That was such an interesting thing what happened to 3DS. I think that's a rare occurrence. I don't know. It could happen. I mean, pricing could be real weird in general with things going around right now, Jeff. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But it certainly doesn't seem like it's going to go in the direction of things getting cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about this, but 2 weeks from now, we could be talking about increased prices for the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro even. Because those tariffs are going to hit those systems hard. So we'll
Remember
see.
when before the election you were talking about how Trump's going to do the tariffs and everybody told you, oh, that's just his classic bluff.
Yep. I do remember, Mike.
Wait, what?
Pretty fucking frustrated, Mike. Yeah.
Wait, I remember that.
I was saying that too.
Plenty of us knew. Yes, plenty of us knew. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. Sultan Abbasi says, happy Switch 2 Day and Eid Mubarak to those who celebrated over the past weekend. Absolutely. And I hope you guys get to enjoy the Switch 2 here very soon. I'm looking forward to it. Sasquooty 196 says, Sasquooty says, was really excited for the Switch 2 initially, but the post-direct reveal of the prices for everything really deflated my excitement. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a portion of people who are just like, I can't afford this. And I get it. Like, I think for a new console, if you are a normal person, you should probably just wait until there's like 4 or 5 games you really have to play. And at that point, you can maybe get some stuff used, find some sales, wait for Black Friday. You know, there's going to be limited sales because it's Nintendo. You know what? Let me ask this, Mike. Do you think the $80 price gives them a little bit more wiggle room to do more frequent discounts, or is this the new, hey, it was 6?
No.
I don't know either.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think that. No, I don't think that.
Yeah.
It should, but no.
I know. Man, I was just hoping. I don't think so either. North, the says, Arf bark me dogs. Metroid Prime 4 is launch. At this point, I'm hoping for an SGF drop of 2 and 3. I could still hope, right? Penis.
We just don't know. We don't know Metroid Prime 4's launch. There's a smidge of hope there, but probably not likely. I want to get your hope up there. But yeah, like somehow the Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remastered drop is still a threat. That could still be something that happens.
I'm hoping. I just feel like they would have mentioned it here in some way if it was going to be a GameCube.
They're going to give us Metroid Prime 2 at the very least in one way or another before Metroid Prime 4 comes out, right?
Yeah.
So until they do announce that it is coming to NSO, that remastered version is a possibility.
Rogers OG says Direct was okay, but the prices they announced have completely unsold me. I don't know who has that kind of money lying around, but I have to sit this one out. Love you guys. Yep. I'm definitely seeing a lot of that going around. You know, it's the game prices, really. I think if it was like...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like you start imagining, it's like, I'm going to get how many $80 games to justify this Nintendo system? Because I have to get the Nintendo games. That's the reason to get a Nintendo system.
Sure.
It becomes easy to unsell, but...
We know why they got rid of that voucher program now, huh?
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if there's a new voucher program that's like $150. You save $10.
Any 2 games you want, baby.
Oof, ouch.
Ooh, don't like you.
Yep. That sucks.
For 2 video games. Well, that's great.
Let's see here. Marcus 077A says, what are the odds there's Joy-Con drift? Penis. The rumor we had was that they were using the Hall effect.
The rumor was, but I don't think we found any clarification that that's true today.
Hey, we got
they went
Treehouse
into the
tomorrow.
weeds on some things, so the fact that they didn't bring that up is a little weird, especially when Joy-Con drift was this big concern.
Maybe they tell you on that game. The Western side
no one's gonna know because no one's gonna buy that
Switch.
fucking thing.
Yeah, you have to pay $50 to find out if your Joy-Con's gonna break.
I bet that's the kind of thing they talk about in the Treehouse Directs tomorrow and the day after. All right, Daily Beating says DK Bonanza looks incredible, but are we really thinking no 3D Mario for the 40th? Would surprise me, but DK looks great. I'm not that upset. I mean, it seems unlikely, but I'm gonna say I think we get one.
Maybe. I generally don't think that these anniversaries are as important as a lot of people think that they are.
Nintendo
I think that they
builds them up, and then sometimes they come along and they don't treat them as anything. Or I guess the 40th anniversary is this year, so I guess I would say no. We're gonna get one next year, but yeah. So no, I don't think that we're getting something for the 40th anniversary.
Mm-hmm. There you go. We already got the Game & Watch thing. You'll get another theme for your Alarmo. There you go. your calendar, your Nintendo Today app's gonna have a real nice picture of Luigi that day.
Hey, that's going to pop me. You know I love my Alarmo. Zuckus07 says, Nintendo just ascended to Apple level of anti-consumerism with this pricing. It's not cool for a gaming industry already in decline. Yeah, I mean, I think they're just ahead of the curve. Everyone's going to be in this pricing level probably in a couple months. You know, slowly but surely they'll all kind of come around to this. So yeah, it sucks now for sure. And Nintendo leading the charge. I think I am surprised by that they're the ones breaking the seal on $80 games. But here we are. All right. Let's see here. Got James MD14. Got to say, I guess I'm a sicko too because I don't care about the prices and I'm so hyped. Also, From Software drop out of nowhere almost killed me. Yeah, that was
a big surprise, and I was very excited about that until I learned more about the video game. But I could still be wrong. That could still be a ton of fun.
EP Idiot Box says it's episode 187 today. Yeah, you don't stop. It's 187 on the mother effing Nintendog. Mike, can you guess whose track that is ripped from?
Is it a member of the Wu-Tang group?
I don't think so. No, I think this is I believe that's a
Kyle?
Snoop Dogg song. 187 on a
Okay.
motherfucking cop. I think I could be misremembering that. Chat can make fun of me too. Yeah, Dre and Snoop. That's right.
Yeah.
187 on a motherfucking cop. All right, and then input video here says slapping the Joy-Cons into the Switch 2 like it owes me money. That's pretty funny. Antonioni says R&D from Mario Kart World elapses most video games ever made. Prices make sense in that regard. And then basically said they should have given an explanation, though. I mean, explanation is it's Mario Kart, right? They're like, who's not? I mean, everyone buys Mario Kart, so we should charge what we can get away with. And that's what they did. Do you think like it's actually going to hurt sales? Because I just don't think it's going to hurt sales for this game.
It's hard to say. I mean, look, what are most of our comments we're getting right now? A lot of them are about people being bummed out about the price. It's always hard to get a sense of what the wider audience is thinking.
Yes,
we definitely have
wheel.
we have a specific kind of audience here, the very passionate one that's very in tune. There's so much uncertainty in the world right now, Jeff. Who knows? I wonder if they were fully prepared for this, especially with that $80 price. I mean, they had to be a little bit prepared. They did not talk about the price of the console during the show. They didn't talk about the price of the games. They didn't tell us how much an upgrade was going to cost for these older games. Again, I think it's a combination of things. Even the little ones, like I still can't believe that stupid little tech demo thing costs money. It is
so
wild.
insane.
And again, I think there is a sense too of like, man, you guys made a lot of money on the Switch 1. You want to make more money for Mario Kart. You made a lot of money by porting your old Mario Kart to the Switch 1 already, and here we are still with a higher price. But we know that's the reality of the economic systems of which we live in. I understand everybody's annoyance at it. I again have a hard time imagining that these things just aren't flying off the shelf for at least this year, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, their psychological trick is definitely working on me because I just keep thinking I'm only gonna have to pay $500 for the Switch 2 and Mario Kart 8, so I'm gonna get that game for $50, and it's just not really how it is. That's not really what's working there. They increase the price of the entire thing to sort of justify the cost of that, but that's the way I'm viewing it. And then when the next game I pay $80 for, that will hurt, and I think, every time you raise the price on anything, it means fewer people buy it. That is just true. That's how pricing works. That shouldn't surprise anybody. But I think at the level Nintendo's operating at, the audience it's going for primarily being families. Families are able to withstand that a little bit easier than a lot of other audiences because it's just so much easier to justify something. An extra $10, but my whole family gets to play it. It's an easier conversation to have with your wallet, I guess.
Jeff, why don't we take a little break here and we'll get back to the rest of these super chats.
Sounds good. We'll clean them up after this.
All right, good break. Just
I'm
bring it
gonna
back.
take Penny out.
Cool.
All right. Don't bring it back. Just keep it there for a little while.
Yep. Yeah.
We're
we
like
can't-
halfway through. Little. Like,
Yeah, plenty more
take-
coming in though. So yeah, we can't stop the show as
Yeah,
long as they
so
keep coming in. Everybody, that's right.
Yeah, we're trapped here forever.
Uh
We're like, this is like the Nintendo jail, but for super chats.
huh.
I can't believe I'm getting sick. Got to the doctor tomorrow. So annoying. What a day! It's the the season changing. It always gets me.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. So you're going from summer to fall.
Correct. So it works in the southern hemisphere. I don't
Yeah.
know how it works up there. I mean,
Right now, we went from very cold to slightly less cold, and then because of there was a huge cold front, and that created low pressure, and there was a little bit of heat somewhere else. That all of the heat is rushing in right now. That I think.
it's beautiful.
Let me listen. Yep, probably gonna have tornadoes. That's how it
Oh,
works up
cool.
here. Do you guys have tornadoes in like the southern hemisphere?
No, yes, we do. I think in some places, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't. We have big ass fucking the like strong winds that will
Right.
like
Tropical
destroy your
storms
shit,
and
but-
cyclones
yeah,
or
that
whatever.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Northern Australia gets
yeah.
cyclones are different than hurricanes or different than the tornadoes. That's the
Yeah,
cyclones
they're not
are the
like-
southern hemisphere hurricanes. Like they're the equivalent of that. But I guess those can cause tornadoes
Kind of,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I've seen I don't know the name in English, but the tornadoes in the water happen.
Water
This is like-
spouts. Yeah.
Yeah, those I've seen with my own eyes. God
Okay.
damn it.
Well, yep. Then
That's
those are just tornadoes, just on the water.
Those are tornadoes, all right. They don't call them tornadoes, so
Yeah. We call
They
them
do
water.
look
We
like
call them water
tornadoes.
spouts. But they are effectively the same exact thing as a tornado. So yeah.
yeah, but they don't. Yeah,
You're talking about the ones that happen
Yes.
above the water, right? And suck the water up into the air.
yeah,
Yeah. That's the same exact effect as a tornado, just
They
on
look-
water.
yeah. They look scary, but they never like hit land.
Yeah, Mitchell, we're getting a huge storm. Yep, that's what I was saying. That's like the low pressure system. All the hot air got. So like I went out
Maybe
earlier
it
this
is-
evening, and it smelled like storms, and it was like weirdly warm and damp. And yesterday it was freezing.
Mm,
It's like whenever that happens,
Yeah,
it's like
they'll do
okay,
it.
we're gonna get a bad storm tonight. So
yeah.
yep. You're about to get hit in Columbus. All right, well, stay safe. I went outside and
Stay
tried to
safe,
lock everything
homie.
down.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about the SpongeBob thing in Tony Hawk. And there's
Oh.
3 more super
Oh.
chats. Jesus.
3 more super chats. I guess we're gonna be here for a little while. Yeah, no,
Following.
we don't. Oh, there's back. Yeah, we don't have tornadoes, that kind of stuff. But there's plenty of horrifying climate
sure.
stuff going on. So
yeah, all kinds of
don't worry
fun
about it.
natural disasters to keep us
You
all
were
entertained.
Yeah,
just
the one-
talking about.
the one that
You might
always
get tornadoes in my
remember
area
is
tonight. You might too. I don't know. It's a big storm.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, be safe.
Volcanoes, like ashes before volcano. That sometimes we get.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I'm
All
ready,
right,
Mike.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, bring it back.
All right, we're back. Jeff, please read more super chats.
Symbiosis writes in and says, "Happy launch announcement day, my dogs. Exhausting, right? Be sure to take a Colorado night this weekend." We'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be a busy weekend too. So, but I will relax somewhat. I got some new beans for my bean bag. I'm gonna refresh my bean bag, Mike, and I might just lay on that thing and not move for a while. That sounds good. Ben.
Yep. Did we read the Antonioni one? Why do I feel like
Yep.
I'm crazy?
Yes, we did. We did. Ben Paulson said,
I'm sorry. Somehow I completely lost all memory of it.
"It's all right. It
What did we
happens.
say?
I can
What
read
did
it.
we say?
I can read it again if you want." Oh, Mike. Oh, I don't remember what we said. Oh, I can't help you with that. No idea.
Price. Yeah. Something about the price again. All right, great. We're doing fantastic here. Keep going, Jeff.
Ben Paulson says, "Yo, dogs, any chance we get more Metroid news or even a release date during the Treehouse presentation in the next 2 days? I think there's a small chance. So excited, but no release date is killing me. Thanks for all you do, Pen 15.
Yeah. Again, it's like the one thing that would make me feel even better, especially about like launch day, is Metroid Prime 4. But just again, maybe the game isn't right. Do you think there is a chance that they are like, maybe this game's not coming out this year and we have to be ready, and Dan Reichert wins?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's disgusting. But yes, there's clearly a chance because of what else? I mean, what's the other thing that they're doing here is like, oh, they're just being coy about it. Like, that's probably what it is, but it could be out in 2026.
God.
Adam GC says the Ouroboros has eaten its tail. Donkey Kong is now Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah, a little bit. But Donkey Kong had a lot of these features early on like the arcade cabinet and stuff like that.
Well, that's what they're saying, that Wreck-It Ralph was based on Donkey Kong, and now Donkey Kong looks a bit more like Wreck-It Ralph, especially with the arms, right? He's
Well, I know he
Wreck-It
looks
Ralph
more
arms.
like that.
Again,
But yeah, but Ouroboros
right,
would have to be like they were inspired by Wreck-It Ralph. I think they just kind of were going back to Donkey Kong. That's all. It's not right, Mike. You're wrong.
Yeah, you're right. Shiggy would never watch an anime movie without Chris on in it.
You're right. That's a very good point. All right. Antone. Oh, no, I'm sorry. EP Idiot Box says 4K 60.
Antonio, we can do that one again.
Yeah, let's go. Antonio Morales is up next. But first is EP Idiot Box 4K 60 /1080 120 caught me completely off guard. Did this surprise you as well? And does it change your expectations of the type of games we'll see? Yeah, I mean, I just think the 120 hertz screen surprised me the most. It's like, oh, I mean, I guess I knew it was coming, but just hearing Nintendo mention it was like, oh, I guess we could get some 120 frames per second games. All right, then.
You think they're using frame gen for that? For the games?
I think they're going to use some form of frame generation, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm curious to see that because, boy, 4K 60 sounds pretty good. And even I, who like frame rate, I'm like, I think I want 4K 60 over 1080 120, but I don't know.
On
I
the
never had to
handheld,
pick
you don't have to
between
choose.
options like that before.
Yeah. It's in the handheld, you're going to have a 1080p screen, so you might as well play it at 120 frames per second.
I mean, look, that's where I'm going to be playing it, right? So
yeah. Yeah.
that's fine.
that'll
But
be
that, I mean,
real good.
again, 1080. Yeah, gosh, ooh, I'm so excited for Metroid. It's going to be great.
Antonio Morales says, "Ah!" And then what's
Real
your
monsters.
what's your drink of choice following an economic crisis? Thanks. Whiskey.
Yeah, I was going to say scotch, but that stuff can get expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to go to some like Jim Beam.
Just give me some well. Yeah, absolutely. RDX Son of a Fet says, need more Blue Shell the Rich videos. Loved it. I appreciate all the kind responses to that. Especially after the new tariffs today. Comrade Jeff is my favorite Jeff. Ooh, woo. Yeah, thank you, son of a
Ooh,
Fet.
woo.
Chris Pratt says, Miyamoto-san told me Mario Arcade would be here. I'm so sad. At least my friend Seth finally gets his game.
There you go. That's a good way of thinking about it. Altruistic of you.
Yeah, they should. I want to see a trailer edit of that Donkey Kong Bonanza trailer, but it just has Seth Rogen's laugh all throughout it randomly. I think that'd be pretty good.
That'd be good.
Cupcakeable says, inevitably, the Mario Kart World bundles will sell out. Fans or families will have to pay $80. I can't imagine not buying Mario Kart with this launch lineup. It feels like something for shareholders. I think that the bundle is going to be much more plentiful than the $450 version, personally, because I think they want people to just pay $500.
Right, but it could be like the Xbox 360 launcher is the 20 gigabyte hard drive one and the one that had no hard drive, and like the 20 gigabyte ones went first, and there's a lot of people who are like, oh, am I really just gonna buy this one without a hard drive right now? Just like
Happened with me with the Wii U.
Hard drive.
Yeah, I got the white Wii U because of that. Now, more recently,
this isn't as bad.
Yeah,
to be clear.
And more recently, it's been a situation where there are the two SKUs for like the PlayStation 5, and really the digital one didn't fucking exist. There was like one of those for every 100 standard ones that were more expensive. I think the move here is to make more of the one that has the higher sticker price. But you're not wrong. This will happen to some people for sure. Some people have to pay $80. But I think the vast majority of people are going to get that bundle because that's going to be the bundle that's in stores. Jackson Tench says, petition for next Nintendogs to be titled "Bigger Scream, Same Thickness," please and thank you. Yeah, we can hook you up with that.
Nintendogs. That's last Nintendogs 2's motto for sure.
Edgar Marino says, the Switch 2 being region locked sucks. I've been importing Nintendo games from Japan to make it cheaper. I will be buying the Street Fighter 6 Amiibos though. So it's not going to work exactly that way. At least our current understanding is the Japanese Switch 2, the system itself is region locked. The games are not region locked. So that means like if you have a US Switch 2, you'll be able to play Japanese games on there still. If you got a Japanese Switch 2 for $330, you wouldn't be able to play other regions games on that system. And that's just to lock that thing down because they don't want arbitrage sellers to buy it in Japan and take it to other countries. So yeah, I think you're going to be fine. But we'll see. We'll see exactly how it's all going to play out. Cute Brute says the Mortal Kombat. The Mario Kart price may be due to the game file size. If it's using a 32 gigabyte / 64 gigabyte card, it could explain the increase. Prices may vary more like the 90s. Yeah, they're doing it because they can get away with it. That's the real reason they're doing it.
Yeah, the digital version is still costing $80 also, right?
Yep.
So,
it's,
but there might be something there that like helped to lean them into that direction for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything's more expensive. Like the cards, I'm sure, are more expensive, but so is labor and all this other stuff. So they're doing what they can get away with. That's how pricing always works. Willow Davis says, I'm an audio guy. That microphone ain't gonna work. The one in the Switch by the TV. Now, Mike, when we first saw this, did you think he was talking about your microphone?
Yes. I've been very self-conscious about the buzzing.
I saw you make a face, and I was like, Mike, he's talking about the Switch one. It's all right. You don't have to worry about it. You sound great right now.
Yeah, but even still, like on Discord, like I could see it lighting up green sometimes when I'm doing nothing. I'm like, is it picking up my breathing? Is it static? Like, what's going on? I'll worry about it more once the new computer is plugged in. Yep. Then I'll see if I still have an issue.
That's just to put your mind at ease. That's just Discord. I don't know why, because I have like a physical mute button on my microphone that will like it doesn't do anything, and it's Discord still light up sometimes. So it's like it's impossible.
Okay.
Yeah, when you
I
guys
just don't want to be a mouth breather. I don't want to be a breathy into the microphone guy.
You're not. When you are not talking, the OBS thing here is completely dead. There's nothing happening here at all. Yep. So we're good.
Okay.
Gotta
ignore it.
AG Aragon says, "Hey dogs, been loving the shows lately. How sick in the head am I for wanting to wait for a Switch 2 port / patch of Xenoblade X to play it at 60 frames per second?"
That was one of the games they didn't mention, huh?
Yep. A little odd.
That's weird. I wonder if it gets talked about at Treehouse, because
that feels like a Treehouse thing.
It's been playing that game. It could use one of those. All the Xenoblades can. Maybe they're going to talk about all the Xenoblades together at some point. I don't know.
Daily Beating's back. It says, "Can't wait for Geist to come to the mature 17 plus GameCube app all by itself." Hey, Eternal Darkness will be in there as well.
Yeah, that's right. They are going to need. They are going to do that, aren't they?
Yep.
Holy crap! What's going to be the first one to get to enough games so you can actually have like a full screen of them? Right?
I doubt either of them ever get there.
It drives me crazy at N64.
Yep.
Seeing all that empty space in there.
Yeah, I don't think they really have enough that they could put into either of those to get there, really. So
what would... Okay, so let's see. If we got Eternal Darkness, they're not going to be able to do any of the Resident Evils because all of those games are just for sale on the Switch already because they've all been HDified. Is Twin Snakes an M-rated game?
Maybe not. Let me see
You think
here.
they'll do Twin Snakes?
Metal Gear Solid:
Like,
The
why
Twin
not?
Snakes is M-rated. Here's the list of M-rated GameCube games: Blood Omen 2, Blood Rain, BMX XXX, so that one for sure.
For sure.
Def Jam Vendetta, Def Jam Fight for New York. Man, that would be awesome, but I doubt it because all the music.
No.
Dead to Rights, Geist, Gun, Hitman 2, Silent Assassin, Killer 7. That could happen. Killer 7.
Could happen.
That maybe is likely. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, Mortal Kombat's Deadly Alliance, Deception, those maybe. Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within, The Two Thrones, maybe. A whole bunch of Resident Evils. 0, Evil 2, Evil 3, Evil 4,
See, it's not
Code
going to be any
Veronica
of those
X.
because you could just buy all of those.
You
right
can
now
just
on a
buy
Switch.
all of those. Spawn Armageddon. Oh, for sure. Just for Mikey. Time Splitters Future Perfect. I would love that. Probably not.
That'd be cool, but probably not.
A bunch of Tom Clancy games, Ghost Recon 1 and 2, Rainbow Six 3, Raven Shield, Rainbow Six Lockdown, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell Double Agent, and then True Crime New York City, True Crime Streets of LA, Turok Evolution, and 13, that Roman numeral 13 cel-shaded game.
Yeah. I don't know if I've heard 4 games that I think are actually going to come to NSO in that list.
Yep.
Basically, Geist, Eternal Darkness, and maybe Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. And I don't know if I heard a 4th that I believe would happen.
Right. Yeah. Killer 7. Yeah. We'll see.
Maybe Killer 7. Maybe.
Yep. Maybe. All right. Let's see. Where did I leave off?
Screaming Madden.
Yes. Screaming Madden says, "Madden is on Switch 2. Let's go." Hey, we're happy for you. I'll play it on Switch. I'll get that first one on Switch. Why not?
I won't.
Tamor H just sent in $2. Thank you, Tamor. I appreciate
Tamor.
it.
Hi, Tam.
Hope you're doing all right.
Do we know what Tam thinks about this From Software game? Because I'm very interested in his thoughts.
Yes, he called into Grubb's Gimmicks today and gave us some thoughts. And he's basically saying, like, he thinks that it, like, obviously he was like, I would prefer Soulsborne, but he thinks that they have a pretty good handle on this multiplayer stuff. He's ready to see it. He thought what he saw was pretty promising. He's also very curious because it is Miyazaki's next game. So, I don't know. Overall, he sounded pretty positive on it. A lot of that is he trusts From Software. That's what he says. So he's ready to kind of play the game and judge it at that point.
I should take a page from my good buddy Tam's book and have more faith in this game.
I wouldn't change a thing about you, Mike. Your responses are what they should be. It makes for good podcasting.
Believer, that's why.
Yep. James MD14 also just sent in a super chat without a message. Thank you, but I think you both of you actually, I think, have messages here in a little bit. Joe Beezer says it seems that in Europe the physical games will be more expensive than the digital games. Is this to subsidize the cheap price in the U.S., the quote unquote cheap price? No, I mean a little bit. Like the U.S. dollar is just worth more than a lot of other currencies. The euro has not dipped a ton, but I think that is just them looking at a much more complicated marketplace in Europe, where from one country to another, things are very different, and they don't put as much time into thinking about how they can be treating those individual markets in a bespoke way. I'm sorry to say. That's just the truth. That's how they treat it. It's very kind of ham-fisted. And so the easiest thing is just set it at the highest possible price and good luck. That's how Canada gets treated. That's how Australia gets treated. So yeah, that's just how it goes. It stinks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a comment on that is that this is why people are saying like, oh, the physical games are gonna be $90 or $100.
Is that where that's coming from?
They're seeing that price. And
why do they
like,
keep saying dollars then instead of euros or pounds? That's very annoying to me.
Because it's 90 euros, and then people is like, oh, it's gonna be $90, which is
maybe
not how
people
it
just assumed they're just
it will be like $100 actually.
Okay.
You did the math.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's where that 90 physical is gonna numbers coming out from.
All right. Let's see here. Ali Miracle says on the UI, I get the vibe they are going to streamline it between Switch 1 and 2 in the direct today, especially with game sharing and game upgrades. Yeah.
I guess I don't really see how. I don't think it's going to change that much between now and then. I mean, look, all I really need is themes. I'd be so happy if I could get like the Metroid Prime 4 theme and just make my whole UI look Metroid Prime-y with visor stuff and whatnot. But they just haven't done that, and I don't know why. That's something I would pay you money for. I would pay too much money for it. Would you believe I would give you $30 for that, Nintendo? Because I would.
$30?
I would pay $30 for a Metroid Prime theme. It's stupid, and I feel bad about it, Jeff. Jeff.
We should cut this out.
Higher.
Maybe higher. Okay, we got to cut this out.
No, we can't cut it out. I'm sorry. It's bad. It's a sickness.
Everyone's going to be so mad at you. They're like, quit giving Nintendo ideas.
They expect me to buy their stupid tech demo when the things I want to buy aren't available.
It's a weird company for sure. We did see that the eShop runs faster, smoother, it looks better. That's what I'm happy about. That's kind of all I needed.
Better. That was a huge problem.
Oh, it sucked at the end of the Switch. It used to be all right, and then it just got worse and worse. Obviously, because 4,000 games launch every day on that thing. I would like it so when you hover over a game on PlayStation 5, it plays like the music. And so like every time I'm like hovering over Spider-Man and it plays that really good Spider-Man music, I'm like, oh, I should play that fucking game. I want that on the Switch. That'd be cool.
Before more people get shoot hot at me, which is maybe the vibe I'm getting. Check. Calm down.
Yes. He's kind of joking.
I don't know what I'm capable of.
Yeah, that's the thing. But, yeah. It's like when we go into sicko mode, everybody, we can't control ourselves. He said he has a sickness, all right? Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good thing about me.
He's ashamed, and properly so. James MD14 is back. Just got to say, nothing has filled me more with endorphins in the last year than this direct, and I'm excited to see your coverage of launch and beyond. Yeah, hang out with us. We'll be there to do our best to give you as much information as possible, and we'll be getting it. Yeah. So live vicariously.
Yeah, and again, I get it. I get everyone's concerns about the pricing, but I am excited. What was your most pop off going vertical moment?
SpongeBob level in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. No,
that's pretty sweet. Actually,
it was pretty cool.
I'm excited. Ooh, we're gonna have the song. Oh, you think they'll have Goofy Goober Rock in the soundtrack?
I hope so. Absolutely.
Oh, holy shit! That'd be good.
I mean, I was just happy to see Metroid Prime 4 again, and then Donkey Kong being a real thing, and then him burrowing through the ground. That was like, what am I even seeing? I was pretty blown away by that.
I think if you watch our reactions, I have the biggest reaction when SoulCalibur 2 shows up.
That sounds right.
For a second, so it's like I didn't believe in GameCube NSO, so it never even occurred to me SoulCalibur 2. And then like right after that, I think I even said, "What's next? F-Zero GX?" And then it literally showed up on this.
Right that second, that was fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, I like the GameCube a lot.
Me too.
How much would I pay for a GameCube theme on my Switch?
Stop yourself! No!
$2,000!
Stop it! No! Pretty Dude says, all the news post-direct really felt like the death of by 1,000 cuts. Slightly deflated a lot of the hype. No info on the eShop improvements is wild. I mean, they showed it in action, and it looked better. I guess, do we trust them? I don't know. They showed off that shitty video with Game Chat, so I don't think they're lying about the eShop looking a little bit better. But, yeah, I guess if you mean other improvements like surfacing games, you're right. We didn't see stuff like that, but
discoverability or what have you.
I don't trust them on that anymore, anyhow. But yeah, I think it's very easy for all of this stuff to pile up right now, and my guess here is it like deflates in another way, like kind of like the negative feelings over the next couple of weeks, and then by the time the Switch 2 is here, many people who were like excited for the system during the direct and then felt worse afterward maybe come to a point where they understand a lot of this stuff and are okay with it. Not everybody. There's going to be a lot of people who are just like, this is too expensive, and I don't blame them for feeling that way. Nintendo says, with game development being what it is a bit weird that this could be the first Nintendo system without new 3D Mario and without a new 3D Zelda. Yeah, I mean, I guess like that's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's crazy, but it's not like impossible, right? But like Zelda development often has huge delays. But I don't know. I guess I think the Switch 2 is going to be around for 9 to 10 years. So I guess
that's the thing. It could be even longer. And this time they could do the mid-gen refresh, right? They could just actually do that to extend it even more. It seems crazy. I will say, it was a big gap between Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and that was a game that was reusing stuff from Breath of the Wild. So we assume this next one is going to be more kind of, built from the ground up. You would assume that takes longer. So yeah, like Zelda's definitely bits away. I still think it's Switch 2. And again, I think Mario is maybe sooner than you would think from seeing this Donkey Kong game. I just can't, there can't not be a new Mario game. Now I know there'll be a 2D one, right? But there's going to be a new 3D Mario game on this system within the next 5 years.
Yep. Let's see here. Chrono Rig says, "Hey dogs, do you have an idea? Okay. Do you have an idea what time on the 9th you'll be able to pre-order, or will they let us know later?" I think right now they're telling people that if you register with the My Nintendo store on the 8th, you'll get a link for pre-ordering on the 9th. I expect that a lot of the details will be given at that point. So I think we'll know by the 8th, the day before. Otherwise, just as Mike said, follow Wario64. He'll always have those details. From Firehair on Nintendo's Ask the Dev post today, part 4, they confirmed that they did consider the idea of calling it the Super Nintendo Switch. Stay excellent. Yeah, I think. I'm glad they didn't, actually, at the end of the day.
God damn it.
I'm glad they did, too. I thought their reason was kind of dumb. They're like, well, the Super Nintendo didn't play NES games. And I'll be like, dog, do you know how long ago that was? I don't think that's real fresh in people's mind. No, I think that wound still is.
The Wii U
at the time, Nintendo did catch a lot of flack for that back then. Like there was like news reports in the US about parents being upset. Like, this is not going to play all these Nintendo games I bought Billy, right? So I don't know. Maybe they're still self-conscious about that, but Switch 2 was the right name anyways.
Yep. All right. From Alejandro Rea, do we still predict new hardware will be the rising tide the industry needs, especially with software prices increasing, potentially pricing out folks? Other third parties don't have to raise prices if they don't want to. This is not like the Xbox 360 the Xbox 360 where Microsoft's like, your game has to be $60. But, listen, Switch 2 is going to raise the tide for some, and some boats will be able to keep to catch that wave. Yeah, for sure. Is it what the industry needs? I don't think so.
I predict there's going to be a huge crash for the entire gaming market in everywhere but the UK.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, they still have their the BBC Micro is going to protect them there. I think that's really going to help out. The industry's problem is that it's getting too expensive. So is the Switch 2 going to help? Doesn't seem like it. Tamor H is back here. The arm was his wife. Bionic Commando is elite.
I want to play that Bionic Commando game.
I downloaded it again the other day on my Steam Deck. I should play it.
We need more the blank is his wife games.
Yes. Wives don't need to go in fridges. They do need to be body parts and other things that are in the game. Simon from Saskatchewan says, best Val Kilmer role / movie. Watch Heat. RIP. Yes. Rest in peace. I love Val Kilmer. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so glad that like Batman Forever and Batman Robin have been reevaluated. Those movies got unnecessarily dumped on for a while. Look, Batman needed to do that pivot that it did with Begins and Dark Knight. I like those movies a lot. But Batman Forever was always a ton of fun. There's so many weird, wacky, bombastic, interesting things going on. And again, as being a kid, when that came out, it was the most hype I'd ever seen for a movie before, like during and after its release. So I think about Batman Forever a ton.
Yeah, always had a real soft spot for The Saint. I thought that movie was just so damn cool. It's hokey and cheesy, but Val Kilmer makes hokey and cheesy always work. He always did. I also love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That was a later one in his career, and him playing like an aging consultant cop in Hollywood. He was, the truth is, he was always hilarious. He had so many great comedic roles, but he also was like had this beautiful face that he turned himself into like a movie star. But deep down, he was always this really funny guy. So Kiss Kiss Bang Bang really brought that together, and really love that movie. White Lens says, would the Switch 2 games possibly costing $80 make GTA 6 costing $100 more likely now? Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's more likely to us. I think like GTA was going to do what GTA does. I don't know. Maybe this makes them feel a little bit better.
It emboldens. That. Yes, I think it emboldens them 100%.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Epic Open World says, will Sony sell new Ghosts for $80? Call of Duty for $80? Ghost of Yotei.
Let's see what Call of Duty costs this year, huh?
Yeah. The thing with Call of Duty is like they have the free-to-play game. So that's always like, they'll be like, hey, we have a Call of Duty for you. It's free to play. It's called whatever the hell it's called. And then, charging $80 for that big package that has 3 different games in it, basically the multiplayer, the campaign, and zombies. I bet that costs $80 here. If not this year, next year. I guess that's tough because it's still coming out on less gen consoles. So, and then that still has backward compatibility. So maybe they wait until it is exclusively on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. And then Switch 2. That's one thing that wasn't in the Direct. Call of Duty. That Microsoft is legally obligated to release that thing on Switch 2.
Everyone told me Halo Master Chief Collection was going to be there.
Yeah, that was never mind. I don't get in that can of worms. But everyone's like, it's going to be in the Switch 1 Direct. I'm like, I don't know, guys. We'll see. Epic Open World says, oh, no, we were going down here from high score. The return of DK makes me so happy. Me too.
Me too. The whole time we were wondering, hey, where's a new Donkey Kong game on the Switch? That's weird. And, there are other reports or rumors that at one point Activision was going to make one of these. And when that fell through, maybe that's when the Mario team just said, oh, we'll do it ourselves with a box of scraps or whatever. Nintendo never forgot about Donkey Kong. Clearly, this is a huge game they're doing for him. It makes me hopeful for like Yoshi. I hope the next Yoshi game now isn't just another 2D game made with yarn and googly eyes. I hope we get like a 3D platforming Yoshi game and things like that. I hope these continue to be important pillars for them.
Hex Prof says, unrelated, you should tell Dan to watch Cannibal, the musical. I bet that is one musical he could actually like. Pen 15. Yeah.
That's from the South Park guys, I think, right?
I don't know, but it sounds plausible. They are really good at musicals, so I would watch it if that's the case.
You made me watch The Snowman, and I hate that now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't watch The Snowman.
Ricky the says, tired, Desk Bloods, Wired, Bikini Bottom Skate Park. Hell yeah.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, that is the South Park guys, that movie. I just saw someone in chat say, boy, we are getting Donkey Kong 64 and NSO pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Ahead of Bonanza.
Yeah, we better.
Better.
Because there's no even issue with like, we got to get Rare on board and Microsoft on board for that. They just straight out own that game. So, yeah.
Well, they gave us all the DKC games before Returns came out, and like the one we didn't get was 64. Now it kind of makes a little sense why they waited a little bit longer for that.
James MD14 says, what's your fave trick to fall asleep? I've been listening to Final Fantasy lo-fi tracks. All right, no more money for me tonight. Fuck. No, we appreciate it, James MD. Good looking out.
Yeah, you gotta save up for that Switch too.
Yeah.
When it's really time to fall asleep, I like listening to audiobooks, and I specifically like listening to kind of dry, like science-y or like one of the hard sciences books, right? So I'm listening to the Selfish Gene right now, so you can get an idea what that's about, or stuff about space things or biologies or mass extinctions, something kind of like it's interesting, but it's dry in the sense it's like there's not a plot twist that like or something too funny happened and now I'm kind of like up because I had a really strong emotional response.
Yep. I listened to a YouTube, like it's like a 25-minute yoga nidra thing, which is just like sending not energy, but you're just like send consciousness like to like your fingertips, and then it moves through your body, and we're supposed to relax those parts of your body where it's like, oh, relax the forehead muscles. And it's like, oh, I didn't even remember that I had forehead muscles. And so just going through that process.
Now I'm aware of my forehead muscles.
I know. Now try to imagine them becoming untangled.
Oh, no. No, thank you. No, thank you.
It by the time I'm like halfway through that, I'm usually so relaxed. It's like, okay, now I can fall asleep. So, I recommend it. It's not like magic or anything, and it's not like some science that's going to cure all your problems. It's just a nice way to get in touch with your body. That's all. All right, let's see here. Johnny Boy says, is it too soon to ask when the next direct is?
We get one every 6 days now or something, right?
That's the new cadence. The Switch 2 is out June 5th. Do we get one before that?
We might get, like I said, well, they did say there's a Mario Kart Direct.
There's a Mario Kart World Direct in a couple of weeks or something like that.
Yeah, and like, I do bet at some point, maybe during summer, we get the Metroid Direct, and maybe that's where we get a launch date, and that's what we hear about Metroid Prime 2, whether it's NSO or it's a remaster.
Oh, I'm so excited about Mario Kart Direct. That's going to be awesome.
Another big one. We might have to.
Might
get later in summer.
Yeah,
maybe later in summer. Maybe August.
All right. So let's see here from Patrick Ford. No question. Just want to say thanks for the show. Absolutely. Thanks to everyone who's been hanging out all day. It's been fantastic.
Yes,
we really appreciate it.
On a different day and everything, you're all still here. More people are here than usual, even. We appreciate it.
Yep. Grant says, Mr. Grubb, what is your secret to looking so comfy? I don't give a shit. It usually helps. Just like I wear hoodies every day. I like hoodies a lot. They are cozy, comfy. And I'm wearing Zubas.
There you go. What?
They're Zubas. See my pants?
Giving the feed for free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also free feed, everybody. There you go. So yeah, I just like wear what makes me happy now. Yeah. There you go, everybody. Free feet. God damn it.
It just happens to all dads in their 40s now.
Yeah. I was issued them. They're standard issue at this point. James MD14 says, Tam gave you $2 to stop talking about Nintendo. Now here we are. Fuck, this money is supposed to go to my Mario Kart World Fund. James, you said you were done. All right, we might have to cut you off. I won't because it's money to me, but we should. But thank you so much. We appreciate it. Drips Malone says, curious to see how many of the less informed consumers and gift buyers will get hosed by the SD Card Express thing or buy the wrong type of game. Won't someone think of the babushkas? Yeah. Yeah, that'll happen a little bit, but it's just is never as bad as people make it out to be. People tend to pay attention when they have to spend money. They tend to. It's hard to get money from people, and then it's hard to get money from people who are like just buying randomly. It'll happen, but it's pretty rare. Special Nick writes and says, "Hey dogs, where's my flowers? Love you." We definitely gave them to you earlier. You must not have been listening.
I mentioned it earlier. Don't worry.
But Nick did have the price correct way back in January. That's pretty impressive.
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, a while ago.
Cody Clements says, "What do you think of the new torpedo bats?"
Yeah, I can't believe the Yankees are causing a problem again. Has MLB said much about it yet? Like, are they looking into it? Is it just going to be like a thing where everybody's going to be using the torpedo bats in a week? Yeah, probably. They'll probably do something about it for next season. It'll be a problem this season. Oh well. Right. JD Camp says, Mike, did you get your library card yet? Plimbus. Not yet. Surprisingly, I'm not usually done working when the library is still open very much these days. We got a lot going on. I would love to have a relaxing day at the library. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, my library is open on Saturday, and every Saturday I'm like, we should go, and then I'm like just so tired that we don't, and then I feel shame. I should do that this weekend. That would be great. Just take the kids and hang out there for a couple hours. That'd be good. Mike, you're not going to believe this, but we're caught up on the Superchats. Hey, that was incredible, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all so much. Why don't we do a small break, huh? That would be awesome. Yeah, okay. Okay, we can do one more small break, but then we'll wrap things up here, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Bring it back.
Okay. All right, we're back. Jeff, we talked about this thing a lot. From all angles, there's excitement. There is some anger and disappointment. What are your big takeaways right now. How excited are you, and how well do you think the Switch 2 is going to do?
I am very excited. Like, it's not like the most excited I've ever been for a console or anything like that. I do think that probably was Switch 2, Switch 1, because Breath of the Wild looked so amazing. But even then, I didn't even know how amazing it was going to be.
Sure.
But I love handheld gaming, and the Switch really solidified that. Switch 2 being more of that is exactly what I want, and it kind of presents itself in the way it's like, yeah, this is the system I need right now. You do then get into the price, and you get into the cost of the games, and that is where it's like it's going to break down for a lot of people there, I think. I do, unfortunately, personally believe that most people are going to get used to it, because I do think this is going to be the new normal, kind of across the board from most companies here very quickly. And it sucks to say that, but I do think that's the case. And I'm sorry that that's the case, but things are just not going to get cheaper for us. So
I do wonder how many people, and I know people do, but like how people remember what the first $70 game was that happened like a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Even already.
Yeah. I mean, like Tears of the Kingdom, $70 was 2 years ago now. Was that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was Nintendo's first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Nintendo's first one. Yes, right. And then before that, it was just like a handful of other things. So it's like we've been with it just a little bit of time, and I think we were like waiting to see if that would hurt sales. And I don't know. Maybe it did hurt the Tears of the Kingdom sales a little bit, but it rushed us 20 million, so it didn't hurt it all that much.
Oh my God, I forgot the first $70 game was Godfall.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Wow, that's incredible.
That game shut down, didn't it?
Well, I mean, I think it still works.
Did that game ever shut on?
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
yeah, I think you can still play that game. I don't know if it was never like a live service game. I think it was more like a I guess I don't know.
It was a shooter.
It was a
shooter.
Yeah, it was like a Diablo. Yeah.
Shooter.
Yeah.
how
about you, Mike?
Yeah, look, I'm pretty excited. Like, and I get everything with the prices. I keep saying that as if like people are gonna be mad at me for being excited, even though it's expensive. Gaming's been an expensive hobby in a lot of ways and a lot of times, and sometimes it does suck. But boy, I just know that like I'm gonna like Donkey Kong Bonanzas a ton. I know I'm gonna love Metroid Prime 4. I'm gonna really enjoy this Mario Kart. I'm very excited to play those Zelda games again at 60 frames per second. I'm very excited to have GameCube games on my Switch 2 and know that at any point more GameCube games can show up in the thing. I know some people are like saying, "Oh, Switch Pro." I don't feel like that. I do feel like, okay, this is the new Switch. This is the new Nintendo system. We haven't been in that cycle for a while, and I love Nintendo. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty freaking excited. I gonna move, mountains and cross rivers to make sure I get one of these things as soon as I can. I am interested to see, like, how is everybody gonna react? How is the larger market going to feel about these higher prices? Or, is everything gonna get so messed up here that this is just one of a zillion things that is now a higher price? And we're gonna have to figure out solutions that extend beyond Nintendo and video games for this whole thing. Who knows?
Yeah. And to get out ahead of the comments here a little bit, in the chats, but like, oh, you get your games for free. I've bought most of my Switch games from the first party Nintendo for the last several years, especially since we've been in Nintendo jail. Like I bought Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom myself, Mario and Luigi. Pretty much every. I think that maybe one game here or there I got. I think I got Super Mario Party Jamboree as a code because Dan got that for me because we were going to do it on stream. But for the most part, I buy my own Nintendo games, so I will feel the $80 price. Like I will be there right with everyone else buying those games. Now I'll write it off my taxes, so there is still something there, and I'll use the Game Mess Limited account to buy some of those games to help write them off my taxes. So there's a little bit different, but I still, when I have to make the decision about buying those games, I will see the money leaving my account, and I'm gonna feel it, but I'm just looking around at everything, and everything's getting so expensive. And I know we all kind of just do this where we try to sell things for as much as we possibly can, and we try to do as least amount of work for the most amount of money, and that's the way the system's set up. So another company trying to take advantage of that and capitalize on increased prices is the least surprising thing in the world to me. It does suck though. It just sucks that this is what we live in.
Did you ever give it? Oh, it was a video on your red shell thing. There was a comment that got deleted, but it was like, be like, oh, pretty rich coming from a 1%er.
Oh, I didn't see that.
People who think that this
Christian, did you delete that? Because I didn't see
that.
that.
Rich. It was on the Reddit. It was incredible. Hey, look, I do get a lot of games from Nintendo still, but yeah, I would buy them. I would.
Right.
I have before, and I would. And I get that doesn't, that's not some kind of statement or anything that I'm just buying things that I want to buy and that I can't afford. And maybe you don't want to buy it. Maybe you can't afford it. And right, everybody's got to do them, figure things out. And if it's something you want, you can't afford it. That really does suck.
Yep.
And I hate that for you, and I understand that frustration, and I have been there as well. I hope things could be cheaper. I hope things can be easier for everybody to enjoy. And there are other things to do, but there is always that call to get the latest and greatest. I understand that sometimes that can lead to a lot of anxiety as well.
Yeah, and a lot of FOMO, and companies taking advantage of that FOMO for sure. Like that's part of this, and it stinks. I'm just looking at. I bought Princess Peach Showtime. That's right, I bought that game as well.
Why?
Because of the kids. They didn't like it.
Game.
They didn't like it. they didn't.
Was it too boring for even them? Or they're like, this is kind of simple. I feel like that happens so much with these games that are like, we gotta target it to kids, so we make it really boring.
That's what they do. It's weird. Someone also mentioned, what do you think of the battery life? I think it's fantastic. This is really good battery life. What they're promising, 2 to 6.5 hours. That's way more than the Switch was at launch. That's about what the Steam Deck is at. I think it's more on the higher end. It's higher than what the Steam Deck's at, I think. I do wonder if there's a chance they'll let us or maybe they'll just do it automatically if you're playing a lesser game. Like it just uses less wattage. I bet that's what it does anyhow. But that's what you can do on like the Steam Deck to save a ton of battery life. I hope that stuff is very good on the Switch too, to just get the most out of it. All right, Mike, we got one more super chat. You want me to read that?
I think we got a couple more super chats. I can read them because Burrito says, thanks guys for the super fun direct stream early today. And again tonight with the longer episode. Cheers. Hired Sources, can't believe the Switch 2 has to compete with Liberation Day. Truly, we live in the worst timeline. Capitalism blows, but you guys rule. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody hanging out here on the Giant Bomb content. What's going on Giant Bomb tomorrow? Are we still doing that? That's the whole thing. We got to do that.
I don't remember shit. Let me. It's tomorrow Thursday. So I guess we're doing Thursday. A voicemail dump truck. I'm gonna click yes on my calendar right now. Over on the GameSpot side of things, Tom's gonna play a Return of Verdansk because people are into Call of Duty. There's a GameSpot show right before that. So yeah, it's game breaking news and voicemail on the Giant Bomb side of things. But the Power Block will be going all day. Hang out for that. It should be a good time. I am
fantastic.
Curious to see as we get more and more tidbits on Nintendo, what will be on game breaking news tomorrow. So tune in for that 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. noon Eastern time tomorrow.
And on the game side, side, which is a short decides tomorrow.
Yes, we're gonna do a shorter decides. It's been a nonstop day today. It's still gonna be busy tomorrow. And back-to-back late-night podcasts are pretty rough. So we'll do a shorter episode tomorrow. But hey, I did put out a video. If you want to go watch that, it is We Should Blue Shell the Rich, kind of explaining economic ideas through video games, because capitalism and economics, they're just games. They really are just the way people interact with one another in a system can be explained through games. That's how economists do it. So go watch that video. I'll have more stuff like that coming on the channel here pretty soon. And that stuff does go out a little bit early for Patreon subscribers. So if you want to watch that stuff early, get to Patreon, do that there. I'll try to get it at least a day early, the very least 12 hours early. But yeah, you can check that out. All right, Mike.
Doing late night podcasts, I did do a new 90s Disney.
Oh, that's right. It's the beginning of the month. All right.
Yeah, it's not about Disney. It's we usually do a little something different on the April 1st episode for reasons. Not a trick, but just an excuse to cover something outside Disney. And this time it was Star Trek: The Experience, the amazing themed Star Trek, almost mini indoor theme park that existed in Las Vegas Hilton from 98 to 2008. It is an incredible thing that they did. It basically inspired modern theme park design in a lot of ways. So check out that new episode of 90s Disney if you
can. Was that your topic?
That was me.
Okay.
I led on that one. We went there about 2003-ish or something, and it was just one of my favorite things I've ever done. I love it.
I'm looking forward to it. One of my favorite podcasts.
Hey,
Yeah, pretty good. We also had the best Columbros episode. Yeah, I think for
Yes,
me, it's pretty, it's a Stitch on Crime. So check it out. It's really good.
Yeah, New Columbros is out for Patreon members.
Spock's a real
Early
bastard. You
access.
should go listen to it.
Yep. Leonard Nimoy's, yeah, speaking of Star Trek. So check check that out. It was a lot of fun. You can push the button, Jeff. Look
I
at
hit
that.
it.
We did it. Oh, Christian's on Twitch now.
Oh yeah, I'm on Twitch. Also, thanks to all the people that support me. That I posted like I needed help to pay some medical bills because I
you
can't
did?
rely on the public health anymore.
Oh no.
And a lot of people came through, and I really appreciate that. Really nice. Carries to the soul, as we say here in Argentina. Thank you.
Nice.
Let me know about that. I would have re-skeeted it. I didn't see this, Christian.
I didn't know that. You're telling me. We got you. Let's know next time.
Yep.
You know what's weird? When I watch Christian stream, I saw video of him for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm watching a video.
It's
of
weird.
You didn't watch me. That's why.
I know.
It's frightening. I'm like, he's got a face. I'm like, I don't know if I like it. Not
He's
his face.
moving like a real
Wow.
person.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't like it. It's not I don't like your face. I just don't like knowing that you have a face. You know, you're just this disembodied voice to me. I love you.
Pick me here.
Bye, everybody.
Banana. I can't believe they put Ooh Banana in the new game.
Cruising blasting 120 frames per second.
Do it.